I'll be right back. I gotta step away.
All right, sound check. How's everyone sounding out there? Testing. SaltEMike, go ahead and say hello.
Hello. How's it going, everybody? Test 1, 2, 3.
Dr. Murray, how you doing tonight?
What?
He's doing. Hope everyone's doing well. See you in a few minutes. Hello and welcome to the Yacht Club, your weekly bar citizen, where we talk about all things Star Citizen, what's happened throughout the week, the cool community content that's been coming out, all the projects and the excitement. And today we've got an amazing show. First of all, we've got SaltEMike back. Welcome, SaltEMike. It's been great. Say hi. Go ahead and
Thanks for having me.
hey,
Hello.
pleasure, man.
I can't see myself.
You're missing. Doc Murray is missing. Let me get through the intro and I'll fix you, buddy. Also, Joran's missing, but Joran is MIA. He'll be back soon. He left a few minutes ago, but he'll be back. Just sort of diving in very, very quickly into the show. We've got a really cool show for you. I mean, it's CitizenCon week, guys. Everything is going off. We've got so much to cover, absolutely so much to cover. So we're going to rip roar through everything. We're going to skip a couple of sections and just get right through it. We're not going to go through and say, how was everybody's week and kind of dive through that. So let me sort out Dr. Murray while we wait for Joran to arrive. But
Thanks for the subs, his Divine Shadow. He donated 5 gifted subs.
Nice one.
Oh, nice.
Very, very nice. 1 minute. Let me fix this. Doc, how was your week? Why don't we talk about that while I fix the scene?
My week is always boring. I don't know why you ask me.
Okay. How was your week, Mike?
My week was a little bit less boring. It was fun. Played a lot of Star Citizen, and again, like we're gonna go over today, just a lot of stuff to go through, and I don't know. Also, kind of sad. Like we should have all been in LA hanging out.
Yeah.
So like kind of thinking about that, which is a bummer. Like think about how much stuff they gave us this week, and imagine if there was a CitizenCon, right?
I know.
It would have been nuts.
Man, we're all really kind of reeling from the fact that we're not able to do that. I mean, I had canceled it ages ago, but I saw in my calendar come up that I had booked, I'd booked a stay at a particular hotel, and it came up, and here was my reminder, for this stay. And it was just another kind of like stab in the heart,
Sorry, guys, minor emergency.
Welcome back, Joran.
Oh,
Welcome
good.
back. Is an emergency
How
you
is
can
some of
talk
that
about?
What's that?
Is it an emergency you can talk about? Because now we're all curious.
Oh, it's just my wife going batshit crazy.
Right.
I thought it was a bread emergency.
No, bread's all been risen, stretched, and folded and put in the fridge. So bread's good for
Perfect.
the dough's good for a few days till I can start baking. Yes. Good morning, Starlet. Good morning, everybody, or good evening,
Yeah.
wherever.
Good
we are.
evening.
Hello, everybody.
Sorry about that.
So we're going to push right through into the show content. All I want to say very quickly is if you do have a question for SaltEMike or for the rest of the cast, preface it with the word question so that we can pull it out, identify it, either answer it as we go along or probably save it for the end of the stream. We only have 2.5 hours for tonight's stream, so we're going to push through it as fast as we can. We also have 3 codes to give away, which are for Miguel Johnson's latest album called Artemis. So we've got 3 keys for Bandcamp for that. So we'll be giving that away as we go along the show. We'll be trying to answer your questions in chat, although we may save them for the end, depending upon how the show goes. Let me very quickly introduce SaltEMike. If you don't know who he is, he's an extremely passionate follower of the game and has equally passionate opinions on his videos and streams. He covers news in the verse pretty much when it happens, about as fast as you can get it up, as far as I've seen. And he has, for me, one of the most comprehensive approaches to YouTube, to news about Star Citizen that I've seen. His the scenes that he has set up, the way he shows things on Spectrum, it's really professionally done. So in my opinion, it's great content. He also does a great call-in show called Answer the Call that I highly recommend you check out and call in order to add your opinion so that you can become a little bit more connected towards the Star Citizen project and contribute in a more fundamental way, get a discussion going. Always you've got...
And thanks for the sub, Mystic.
Yeah, right on, Mystic. So you can find him at SaltEMike. That's Salt with a capital E and Mike, all one word, in both Twitch and YouTube. So let's dive into the show. Okay, so Community Corner. Let's hit that, guys. We'll start off with the Verse 2950 teaser by Space Coder. This is about 3 minutes long.
We can't see it.
Oh yeah, hold on. Thank you.
Thanks for the raid rally, please.
Woohoo!
Ooh, thanks for the raid.
Yeah, thanks for coming to join us. We're just
Rally
watching.
Blaze. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah. For all of those joining,
Thanks for the sub, Rhodes.
we are just watching the Verse 2950 by the Space Coder.
Do you want to give them an overview of who we are and what we do, STEM? For all the new
Yeah.
people?
Let me pause this real quick. Sorry, guys. And it seems like my internet is struggling a little bit with everything going on. So, hey, thanks for joining us. If this is your first time checking the channel out, we go about all things Star Citizen. We're your local Bar Citizen hangout. So once a week, everybody gets together and we hang out. It is the official Bar Citizen hangout, but not official as far as CIG is concerned. But we have a fantastic time. We hang out, we talk and chat, we go over the weekly news, what's happening. Of course, it is CitizenCon week, so it's extremely exciting going on right now. We've got so much content, so it's going to be a little bit fast paced. So for right now, what we're doing is we're diving in through the Verse 2950 cinematic. We got another minute and a half to go on this one. We'll talk a little bit about it. We'll move on to the next piece. So I hope you enjoy. And if you do, consider following and enjoy.
Definitely nice cinematics on this thing.
It's beautiful, hey?
Oh, that's cool.
We've done many of those drop out and drive around shenanigans before.
This is a very tasty pumpkin craft cider.
Ooh.
Went down really fast.
Wow, that's a neat one. Really, really neat one.
That was cool.
So many talented cinematographers in our community.
The next sort of community corner one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jordan.
I was gonna say it's just it takes a lot of coordinated effort to get all that footage.
Yeah, the last one we had on, they were saying it took them about 6 months to put it together.
Doing a shipyard.
Very, very nice. What's everybody drinking in chat while we hang out tonight? I've got a scotch called Zaya. It's 16-year-old scotch. It's really nice. Yeah.
I have a bottle of water from Pana. I don't know if you've been there, Joe Rune. You're familiar with this
Pana?
place?
No.
Yeah, Pana, like bread. It's like a chain for Latin street food, basically. It's pretty good.
Oh, I think I've heard the name.
Yeah. It's good. It's good.
Little chain down here.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice. So this is
What's next, Tim?
yeah. So we'll dive into the Reddit community real quick. We'll look at a few links on what's been contributed very quickly. And this one is entitled "How Traders Will Be Landing to Avoid PvP in 3.11." This is submitted by Ironsides 69.
Yeah.
Was that not
Oh,
impressive?
that's
That's a
sick.
good one.
Let's watch that again.
That's some pretty fancy maneuver in there.
I'd be impressed if he did it from first person.
Right?
Yeah.
Landing in third person is easy mode.
All right.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm
True.
doing a spin around and backing up like that. That's it's not as easy as it looks.
so this one's 2.5 minutes. This one is Leica's new music video teaser by the People's Radio. 2.5 minutes.
Do we listen to the whole thing or just like half of it?
Well, let's listen to the first part and we can slow down. Yeah. And I'll link it in chat as well.
For we meet in an hour of change and challenge, in a decade of hope and fear, in an age of both knowledge and ignorance. The greater our knowledge increases, the greater our ignorance unfolds. In the last 24 hours, we have seen facilities now being created for the greatest and most complex exploration in man's history. The vast stretches of the unknown and the unanswered.
This is Divine Shadow Redeemed. All hosts need to take a drink.
Oh, there we go. Jump in, SaltEMike.
We will have literally reached the stars.
That fine Aquafina you got going there.
That's right.
So it's cool how they use VoIP here, to make like a real in-game
music video.
Yeah. And it's nice too because most music videos where you have female singers tend to be a little bit revealing, so it's actually kind of nice that it can be a bit tasteful and focus on the actual dynamics and video of the game and leverage that instead.
I bet you dollars to donuts that's a dude doing that.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I don't care.
Oh,
It's
the
not a
voice sounds
dude's
like
voice.
like a gal.
Yeah.
I think the voice is not. I think that's the song they've imported over it.
Yeah.
They said it was actually composed for. That they actually composed this,
Cool.
if I recall, and that's why it was featured by CIG and the This Week in Star Citizen
And
community.
super timely with all the election stuff going on in the verse as well. So quite clever, a way of kind of tying in the elections that are happening now in the real world to the elections that are happening in the verse.
I love that MR is the Moonlander.
Yeah.
Very, very similar.
And then RSI and the footprints.
The moon buggy and the cyclones. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Cool. All right. Okay. So the next ones we'll rip through them. So first one is Stream Deck MSR photo in sleep mode by Disman. So let me
Oh
get
yeah,
to
this
that.
is new.
Yeah,
The
this is cool.
sleep mode thing.
I didn't know that it did this. So basically, if you have an Elgato Stream Deck, you can now create a sleep mode, and you can put whatever picture you want in there. Because that would be a lot of time setting up all those icons on those different panels if we didn't have that.
Yeah, I got to do that because I only use my Elgato when I'm streaming and be able to put something cool on it.
Yeah, me too. I'm sick of staring at
All the rest of the
the
time.
icons that I have. That'd be nice. Okay, next one is Enjoying the Sunset at Microtech by Tosh23.
Even
Isn't
though
that nice,
House Guy says that sunsets are overdone, they're still beautiful.
Yeah, right.
But they are
never
overdone.
get bored of them. Of course they are, but we'll never get bored of them.
I
There's so many
think
good shots.
I think every video we've watched so far has had a sunset in it.
They're overdone because they're beautiful, and there's so
Yeah.
many different really great photographs. This is really cool. I had two people sitting on top of the ship enjoying it.
Is that
No,
the size of the 100i, or sorry, the 100 series? Because it looks like they're sitting on a rock behind it. Like, that ship looks way
looks
too
like they're
big.
sitting on top of the 100.
Yeah. It just makes, when I first saw it, I thought it was an 85X, and I'm like, that's way too big. You've got to be sitting on rocks
Yeah.
behind it. But
Because you don't fly enough.
yeah, this is true. This is true. Moving on to the next one. This one is Stranded on Microtech by Oprix Quasar. Clever name. That's beautiful, isn't it?
Mm.
Wow. The biome's just incredible. Next one is...
Have your house there.
right?
Oh,
That'd be
poor Grim
amazing.
Gopher. Poor Grim
Why do
Gopher.
people
He
keep
doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Well, the title of this is 311 in a Nutshell by
Yeah.
Kate Dixon.
Yeah.
And
And then-
is this
and then
legit?
Zyla's response
Is
was
this legit
interesting.
Zyla's response? I'll make that bigger.
Yeah, that's Silas' response.
That's
That's
great.
Yeah,
too good.
that does kind of sum things up, and like some controversy over all that.
So if you've been living under a rock and you're not up to date on what's going on, Star Citizen right now has a contest out there. Well, not a contest so much. It's a feature in game where if you get 50 kills, they're encouraging piracy and griefing or whatever. Well, let's not get into the debate on that. They're encouraging you going out
Not
and killing
griefing.
people. Okay.
Encouraging PvP.
PvP. And if you get
PvP.
50 kills, you earn the Vanduul mask, which literally makes you look like a Vanduul, at least from the neck up. So it's kind of a prized item everyone's going for right now.
Griefing is subjective.
Yeah. Let's
If
not,
you're
that,
PvP,
that's why I said
if
let's
you're
not
doing
go
PvP,
there.
you're not.
Okay.
If you're being attacked, then you may feel differently.
Okay, talk about griefing in chat. We'll continue on with the show. We've got so much to cover. It's super exciting. Okay,
Keep going.
this one.
I'm just narrating while you're bringing stuff up. Keep it going.
This one is okay. So now we're getting into the pictures from our Discord, and like I say every week, it's hard to choose. But man, there were so many of them that we've actually got a very, very long list this time. I could not stop. So, Mr. Ibra, this is Descent by Mr. Ibra, which is absolutely amazing. Jumping into another one. Aren't these incredible?
Those helmets are so cool.
I love them.
But we've got
Nice
a
care,
lot.
Horton.
So this is Haskaha. Sorry, this is Mr. Ibra as well. Putting them together with a really fresh kind of twisting view on that. That's awesome. Now we've got 3 by Mr. Haskaha. Again, the bear.
Ooh.
Scary. Wouldn't want to see that
That's cool.
wouldn't want to see that in an alley at night. And then he's put together this beautiful shot of the Tumbril Racer. And then to celebrate our new 100
Pippi Sua says that love that you guys are doing this. This is, what so much of the community loves to do is to take screenshots. I mean, it's the most expensive screenshot generator ever made. And we just,
So well
it's
said.
just having fun, and it's just beautiful all the time. So many people take so many beautiful screenshots, and there's so many creative people in the community. It's great to be able to feature them.
You got it.
I think
Especially in
the
the
Hubble
Yacht Club.
Space
I mean, we've got
Telescope
so many.
is more expensive.
Probably.
What's that?
The Hubble taste.
The Hubble.
Yeah.
It's what most of my desktops and stuff are. Is shots
Does the
from the
Hubble Space
That's
Telescope
probably
have
true.
a Carrack? Has it taken a Carrack picture on a sunset on Hurston? Doc?
I mean, it's wide angle, so it's possible. It's possible that in one of the
There might be a
galaxies
Carrack
that
out
taken
there
a picture
somewhere.
of, there could be a Carrack. So
Just got to zoom in the right area of space.
Yeah.
Back to some more of that teddy bear helmet. So this is not Haskaha anymore. This is Fierce Monkey. Very nice picture. It's called "Wanna Ride the Train with Me." It'll be fun.
You know the eye moves.
Yeah,
The eye moves around.
Yeah, as you move your head, the eyeball wobbles. It's hilarious.
and it like
There's
flickers too. They're not perfect.
Did everybody buy helmets? Did everybody buy teddy bears?
I love seeing people
I'm going
in
to- I just
Gladius
haven't
with the
done it yet.
helmet on.
I bought the
you can
whole
see-
pack immediately.
I'm buying the
you can
back.
see the helmet in the Gladius cockpit so clearly with the little glowing red eyes and the light up smile. It's like,
Yeah, it
freaking
looks
great.
funny as the pilot. In most of the ships, I was in a Defender the other day. Oh, that's a great.
So
I just
a great screen.
his Divine
Gladius.
Shadow took this.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Good one, Shadow.
Yeah,
Oh, that's the satellite, huh? The down satellite mission.
yeah,
that must be it.
I hadn't been there
That's
in ages. Is that still there?
That's
yeah.
the Glen jump. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the Glenn jump. Poor Glenn. Okay, next one.
I love that they had him on the community video.
Yeah, that was very cool. We'll talk a little bit about that video in a bit. This one is by, so how do I say his name? It's 1CH0. I'm going to call him One Joe. just because I don't know better. One show, if you're watching, let us know how we say your name properly. This is Abandoned Outpost on Yila.
It's
He
probably
does a really good job with the focus, the depth of
Yeah.
field.
The bokeh and the
Shadow
lighting.
says
and-
that was he came across one near Orinth, so I guess let me go check that out.
Cool.
Yeah, there are a couple of those down satellites on Hurston. So
Are there now?
yeah, well, there's always been, because when you would get the mission to go to them, sometimes they would send you to a different one. That way,
Mhm.
if somebody
Oh.
came behind you and got the same mission, they wouldn't have the same satellite as you. They would have to have another one.
This one,
And sometimes
oh
it's
man.
the same one. So
And one
Oh, that's a
show
good one.
did this one. Amazing. You know, like, wow.
the new
Wow.
water effects look good.
Yeah.
There's still no tide.
Yeah, the water looks so good.
But doesn't it look like the water's coming up and integrating into like the actual pebbles that are on the beach there? You can't really see it, guys, in chat because the hosts are down in that section.
Oh, it's down low.
But wow, I could move things a little bit here. Let's see if I can do that real quick.
Oh, Ed says it's pronounced Icho.
I said it's
Yeah,
pronounced each like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, we can go with each show.
Your mic's really
I'm
quiet,
good with
Doc.
that.
Is it just me?
No.
It sounds fine to me.
Must just be me.
Let's dive into this one here.
Turn up my volume.
See if I can find that.
I'm talking
No,
rather quietly.
It's difficult to find. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. We are limited time.
Yes.
All right.
Keep it going.
So there's nothing overly special about this picture. This one is also this one is by Mystic Star. It's a very well taken picture, but I had to highlight it because I shouldn't say there's nothing special about it. There's nothing immediately that stands out about it outside of the entire picture and just the the way the helmet is, the way the light's reflecting off it, the way we've got all the new components and how it's all like it's a great shot.
The amount of detail there with the armor, the helmet, the ship.
Yeah, there's something about it. What is it, guys, that stands out about that photo to you?
The new Origin helmet.
True.
The motorcycle helmet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I like that one. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of people are complaining it's too big, and I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like a
Well,
racing helmet.
Yeah, it looks like a motorcycle racing helmet. Where I mean, they tend
Yeah.
to be a little long front to back.
It looks fast, eh?
Yeah. Moving right
Yeah.
along. Keep going. Keep
All right.
going. We're
This
bogging
one,
down.
awesome one. This is by Knight, Knite. I'm pronouncing it Knight, and it's hard at work. And that's great. You know, we don't see a lot of photos where people focus on themselves in an action shot, and I certainly haven't seen anything like that before.
All those need to
in
drink.
Mining with the Rocks. That's really good. Oh,
Drink it.
Jay
Hey, Zixel.
nice one, Zixel. Okay, then we've got Captain Raoul makes an appearance again. Look at that. Wow.
Oh, that's a good one.
Jordan's.
He does great stuff.
Amazing. Man.
What, Doc?
You're frozen.
Frozen?
Unless you're holding that pose.
I'm not. I'm moving okay on my side. I don't know if
You're
you want
definitely
there.
frozen. Maybe
Do I need
disconnect
to-
and
Yeah,
reconnect.
In the
Yeah,
call, he
drop-
looks fine to
drop
me.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, he doesn't look fine to me in the call, which is probably what the
Yeah.
issue is. Yeah, there we go. It's
There
fixed.
we go.
I'm moving fine in Skype.
No, it's
Okay.
better. It wasn't Skype, or it might have been Skype. I don't know what it was. You're fine now.
So this next one,
quick.
another
Okay.
picture of the teddy bear helmet. This is Namtaru comes in with this one. Really, really great shot. Kind of a freaky
Yeah,
shot.
that's a cool one.
And I'll zip to another one that Lieutenant Porter did that would be in the background of the same shot. Isn't
cool.
that great?
Mhm.
So
Game over,
good.
man.
Yeah, just lined
Oh,
up.
that's sweet.
Lined up the helmet with the same neon.
Nice.
That's tight.
Very
and
cool.
then one more in between, because there was a lot of that. And this one is by this one here is by Kopza. Really, really great shot. And then Lieutenant Porter had another one that just had to be shown off.
that's
These were
Porter.
just so good. So good. Okay, I'm going to set up the rest of the links, guys. Please, I'm going to leave you with a topic to talk about right away. It is the 2950 Imperator election. Okay, talk amongst yourselves, and I'm
yeah,
going to set
and-
things up for the rest of the show.
So, are we voting for chaos or are we voting for stability? Or
thought
are we voting for?
Addison.
I thought we were
you're
voting for
chaos.
infrastructure.
Just like chaos. I like technology. I think we should focus more on science in the real world and our fake
Because
world.
she has no governmental experience whatsoever, and she's going to take money away from everything else in the empire and devote it all to science. Which we're all for science. I mean, we're all space nerds
that's
here.
what I would
but
do.
She's going to
Is she the AI one though?
destabilize. Yes, Addison
Yeah,
is the AI one. And,
That's
Ooh.
the one I got turned off
But-
to the AI stuff.
well, Sherry said on Friday on the show that she would result in chaos essentially over time in the empire. I would just really be destabilizing.
Yeah.
Read more into it. I'm voting for Sherrod because I think that she's going to be the most stability and prosperity.
That's more the same. I've heard these advertisements.
I also voted for Sherrod.
Way to go!
Yeah.
Well, you're an economy guy, so I knew you know where it's at. But money is to be made in stability.
Yeah. Exactly.
And there were a lot of people around the community that
and stability.
a lot of people were saying it's like, oh, you can make more money in chaos. So it's like only a few people will make money in chaos. More people will lose money in chaos. In stability, more people make more money.
Yeah.
And if you're an economy guy, you're for stability.
So would you call that like a conservative party?
Semi-conservative, fiscal conservative. And I thought what was interesting was that all the characters were fairly complex and nuanced. They weren't all one-dimensional. So all of them had some trade-offs. So it's not like any one of them was a slam dunk. It's like this one is just fantastic, head and shoulders above all the other ones. There were things that you liked about many of them, except for the messer guy and the criminal guy. Who does that leave? Addison and Sherrod. Who was the other one? There was LaSalle, which was the criminal guy. There was
Some people voted Costigan.
Costigan, who's the messer guy, and he's the dictator.
What?
Who's the fifth one?
Wait,
There's
what?
Costigan, LaSalle, Addison, Sherrod, and who's the fifth one? Pico. Yes, I vote for Pico.
I vote for Pico too. Look, I got to throw in my 2 cents here, and very quickly. There's enough elections going on in the real world. I am not a big fan of diving into it in my escape. Which is Star Citizen. So
prefer to focus on it in fantasy worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like trains. Like I watch like train YouTube videos all the time. So I voted for the infrastructure lady. That's what I went with.
There you go.
But then Jarun explained why my choice was like better for me anyway, so it worked out. Thanks.
So that's the
I
election.
like trains.
I like trains.
I voted for Sherrod. I like trains.
So for those of you that are joining us for the first time, what we do is we go through the week in order.
Mira No was the other one. She was the one, and in the beginning I was for her because she wanted to move the capital to Terra, and I want to move the capital to Terra also. But then I didn't like anything else about her, so vote no for no.
Right.
There's a pretty big contingency of Terra capitalist terrorists, I guess, that will probably win the vote. With no,
I think Addison is going to win because the majority of the community saw AI and science, and it's like, oh, we're voting for that, and nobody actually watched the show on Friday where Sherry said that was going to end up in chaos.
Well, that's Sherry's concept of it. That doesn't mean it's accurate.
True.
Even though
she's only the
Sherry
archivist.
is the lore keeper. yeah, she is
She's
the archivist.
Even though she decides what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
she knows all. She is like the oracle of Star Citizen.
So
like,
I've got a question.
If she says it, that's gold.
Is our vote actually influencing the way things move forward?
Well,
Apparently so.
the other 90 billion civilization people are going to vote differently than us.
Well, it's not like the other votes where you can see like, oh man, they're all voting for the Carrack. I wanted my ship.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a little bit different this time.
Yeah, because we're not seeing a live poll happen. So maybe they're going to have a look at it, and then just to make sure that we don't, name something Bodie McBodie face.
Yeah, because that kind of throws the votes when people can see who everybody else is voting for. It's like, Oh,
Yeah.
this one's getting more votes. I'm just gonna throw my vote in there too.
Exactly.
Because I'm a sheep.
Nobody wants to back the loser.
We should have that in the real world. Okay. So moving on to the 2950 birthday digital goodies pack. So this is a thank you from Star Citizen and celebrating the 2950 birthday. So is it officially now 8 years with Star Citizen?
Yep.
Is that what it is? The 8-year birthday?
Yep.
So what we're getting...
It's been 8 years since the start of the Kickstarter.
Nice.
Star Citizen's older than that, technically.
Okay. So we get an exclusive flight suit and helmet in game with Alpha 311. We get an iridescent pistol. And then we get a charming Microtech mascot, Pico the Penguin, a special birthday edition for future decoration of ships and habs. So that's kind of cool.
I didn't like the helmet. It looks like a noob helmet. And I kind of like the design until I saw it up close, and it's got the same detailing as I like the flight suit.
Flight suit's cool.
Helmet. Yeah, I like the shape of this helmet.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the shape of the helmet, but when you look at the detailing around the back of it, it looks like the noob suit, so I didn't like it.
Is it
Jorun, I haven't seen it in game yet. Is it black, the helmet
that's
where
my
you can't
question
see the
too.
face?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's the main
face is
difference,
black.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
that could be
Yeah.
advantageous.
Mhm.
That's kind of cool.
Mhm. Yep.
People will recognize
Move right
you
along.
in the
Keep
verse.
going. Let's go. We got a lot to cover.
Right.
You can't get the Pico yet, so just before anyone.
Yeah, just keep in mind they'll give you the Pico at some point.
Okay.
Yeah. Later.
But the other two you should have.
Oh, Chip says it is the noob helmet, but with black glass.
Yeah. I think it is the new helmet.
So then on Thursday as well, we got the Day of the Vara 2950 story contest. So do you want to go over this one real quick, Jordan? It's basically
I don't know anything about it.
Okay, I'm going to take a guess at what it is because I haven't looked. My guess is that you write a story, send it in, and there will be giveaway prizes. Third place will be an F7CS Hornet Ghost with LTI. Second place will be a Retaliator Bomber with LTI. And first place will be a Reclaimer with LTI. That's pretty cool.
Wow, nice prizes.
That is on till the 27th. Very cool.
I might do that. I don't know. It's limited to like 3,600 keystrokes, which is, I mean, I'm a
Keystrokes?
minimalist and everything, but
So
3,600 characters for a story? What is it, like a haiku?
keystrokes that count.
well,
that
average
counts
word
as
is
art as well.
five characters, right?
Huh?
Your average word is 5 characters. Like if you're
4, but yeah.
okay, so yeah, perfect. So for those of us that use larger words, it's 5. The more
Going off what I
expensive
learned.
words. No, you should take Doc's word on this. He's the editor and technical. What's your role actually?
I'm an editor author.
Editor author, yeah. So you would know a lot better now. But
All right. Next.
Thank you for timekeeping. Okay, sorry about the bright light there, guys.
We keep pushing. We got a lot of.
We got so much to go through.
Deep stuff to cover. Yep.
Right. We want to get into the deep conversation real quick. So the S38 One Empire pistol, 300 meter milestone or million milestone. So we also, with this special event, we hit over 300 million in money raised for Star Citizen. There's been
Which was actually quite a few months ago. We're now at like 316 million.
Yeah, close to 320. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's wondering if are we actually going to get anything for 300 million? Like they totally forgot about it. So this is nice that they actually did have something.
Yeah.
And I really like this pistol.
I
looks
like
nice.
the S38 better than the LH86, even though I
Yeah.
carry the LH86 more often. It's just because it's for sale more places. But now having an S38 on hand is pretty cool, and it looks
Yeah,
good.
It does look good.
Yeah, I really like it.
Looks a little bit better in a multi-tool, but not much. And fight me.
You can carry
Okay.
both.
So this next thing we're looking at here, this is Friday. Now on Friday, we get the RSI newsletter, the weekly newsletter, and this is the sneak peek of the Talon. So all we know is it's that the file name is often the indicator. It's Talon_3.jpg.
Is that the cockpit?
I have no idea.
That's about the middle of the ship.
It's so hard to tell what that is.
It's like the top middle of the ship.
That's how you pick up the ship and walk away with it.
Yeah.
It looks like a handle.
So that's on the
So
outside.
when we get really technical, yeah, that's the center line of the top of
Is
the
that
ship.
a scoop, like
I-
where chat is on the left-hand side there?
Looks like.
Yeah.
I love the level of detail on this. I mean, there's
Yeah.
going to be so much detailing on the ship. I got CCUs to both of them. Probably getting the Shrike. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, I can't remember if I made a pass on that one
Keep
entirely
going.
or
Let's
what.
go.
Jesus. You want to produce the show? I mean, come on. Okay, next one. Okay, guys, we have to spend a couple minutes talking about these. We talk about them every show. So these are the colonial homestead explorations. We've seen them go from 2D to 3D, and now we're seeing them grouped in colonies. This is all work in progress. This is the subscriber update, and just some really cool.
Yeah, it looks like a lot more
Fab.
different props and things.
Yeah, it totally looks
JF Fab kit one day. Anybody?
That would be cool.
I
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah,
That would
the
be
JRD
cool.
and FAB kit. Yeah,
Make your own little diorama in your living room.
your own personal Tatooine.
$500 worth of stuff there.
You know what
Oh,
though?
yeah.
Like all of that cable management, there's no way. Like it would have to be on. They'd have to have like.
You're so
fake
so
ground.
obsessed with those cables.
Oh, it drives me nuts.
I am too. It's nuts.
Thank you, Doc.
Very aggravating.
Those
Like
cables
they
are
don't even have
terrible.
those like the cables that run through Area 18 bother me. I'm like, why the fuck are there cables through this main
They're just
thoroughfare?
cables everywhere.
Who
Apparently
designed?
Chip hates that too.
It's a risen
Thank you,
floor.
Chip.
Run the cable under the goddamn floor. Anyways,
Yeah, and sync those things. I mean, when it's temporary, it's okay, but clearly that is not temporary. Either that, or these things are so run down
So
and patched together with duct tape. You know,
so
that's what they're-
jumping ahead while we're looking at this at the
Look at those biomes. the biome.
at the homestead. So the Pioneer is going to be able to buy it. Is going to be able to make these. Take that, Doc.
What?
that's not
Is
what he
that
said at
real?
all.
Who
That
said
is what he said. That is
Who?
exactly what he said.
Will be able to make more than just the outpost. He didn't.
They will
say-
be able to make homesteads. They're retconning the Pioneer to be able to make homesteads.
Oh, snap.
That's how I heard it too, Doc. That's how I understood it.
Oh, that is
That's what
super
I
exciting.
wanted to hear.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I might.
You could probably clearly and rightly assume that's what he said, but that is not entirely what he said. He said that it would make new things,
Yeah,
not the homesteads that they were
They were
designing.
talking about he was talking about homesteads. We'll get to
Are
that in a
yeah.
With the periods in
Um,
there. So
yeah,
like,
that was actually Jen and Tonic's question. So thanks for that, Jen and Tonic, and so glad that they answered that very.
but
very
yeah,
well for you,
I
'cause-
heard that and figured
Yeah,
you'd bring it
that
up.
is super exciting if that's the case. In fact,
and
I'm
I
changing.
was
I'm changing my
basing-
gameplay from hauling to setting up outposts. That's
to
what it is.
baseball. Yeah, but how often are you going to be
Just
setting
joking,
up
just joking.
outposts? It's like and
I
and
know.
homes. Are we
I'm
going to
just
be
kidding,
doing
but
this
that's
all the
super
time?
exciting. That's awesome.
Everyone-
that's what you
every
really like
day
to
I'm
do.
making a new outpost. That's my goal.
Fucking cover an entire moon.
Or
That
Yes,
song every
I
day
would
I'm
like to
shuffling.
retire
Now
now.
we need something that's for
just
outposts.
cover it and just create a huge habitation settlement with all the stuff. And you know that there's going to be lots more stuff coming in the future, and that's really what I base my theory crafting on when I saw the homesteads, knowing that the Pioneer was concepted 2 years ago before at SitCon, that they didn't have these in mind yet, that if they're only just concepting this stuff, they didn't know that they were going to be making these things when they made the Pioneer. So they were going to have to retcon the Pioneer to be able to make these, because these are going to be like outposts but different. And so I'm glad that he confirmed that.
and too tall for the Pioneer to make them.
They're going to change how it makes stuff.
Yeah.
They want her to be a more mobile fabrication facility.
Do you think they'll
I
do it
get
just by like
to
putting
be able to
stilts at the
make
four
more
corners?
stuff. Like that makes
It'll just rise up on these stilts
All
like a
right.
crane.
All right, let's move along. Let's keep going.
I thought I was the timekeeper.
hovering 3D
All right,
printers.
so
Because you're not giving time. Let's go.
this is the roadmap. There were no changes. Moving on.
I've seen the Mercury Star.
There were no changes whatsoever. Okay, so Star Citizen birthday 2020 AMA recap. This is something we have to spend time on, guys.
This is what we've been
This
waiting
is where
for.
we can
all
slow
night.
down and talk it through.
Take a deep breath. All right, we're here. We can dive into it
Serenity now.
in depth.
Okay, who wants to start? Who wants to go after the first question? I'll preface it real quick. So the AMA, we had Chris Roberts, Todd Pappy, and Tony Zervek give answers in chat to the top upvoted questions. consider it like a 10 for the chairman, only it was really more for like the pillars of the community. Only we had those 4. We were really missing, who are we missing from
Pillar
that?
directors.
The pillar directors. Who are we missing? There's a 4th one.
John Cruz, Sean Tracy, Aaron Roberts,
I think Sean Tracy,
Brian Chambers are other pillar directors.
Okay, so it's not the pillar directors. Anyway, people we've been wanting to hear from forever. Obviously, Chris Roberts, we want to hear from him for ages. That was fantastic. Tony Zervek, we could listen to him for hours. So that's it. And of course, Todd Pappy's just got some great stuff to say.
So, Mike, were you disappointed that this wasn't a live town hall format? And were you thinking it was going to be? I thought it was going to be. I was hoping it was going to be.
So was I.
I'm okay because I think it's better, especially for Chris, if he can read what he wrote after writing it and then before hitting send. Because I think Chris says a lot of things.
Yeah.
And maybe starts to run off topic a little bit sometimes. So I think it's like good for him to be like, all right, is it okay? Good, send.
But in a way,
I think a written format for him is best.
There's 2 sides to this, and I love when he writes because he delivers such great, really just meaty information. And I totally get what you're saying as far as he tends to ramble, but I love listening to those rambles because you get more of a sense of his thought process.
What's here,
and and what he's envisioning, and the same with Tony Zervek. When you get them talking, you can absorb a lot more broad nuances of the connotations of what they're saying and what their intent is for the future universe. And I feel like that's one of the things that we've been missing so much for the past 2 years, as they've been kind of talking less and less in those longer term vision statements that we used to get so much of. And I know they've pulled back from that because the community gets latched on to stuff and it's like, that's not coming for years and years and years. And so we don't want to talk about it. But most of the new backers have no clue about what's coming. And people that have come in the past,
they don't know what the game is.
They have no clue. They think what we've got now is basically it. I talk to people all the time that they haven't even seen the star map. I mean, they think there's more than Stanton. There's going to be like dozens of systems like this. Like, how are they going to do that? That's insane. It's like,
CIG put themselves in this weird like lose-lose scenario where if they say too much, it's going to come back to bite them, and if they say too little, they look like they're ignoring us. It's a really shitty situation at the end.
Yeah,
we're
not well equipped emotionally and mentally to deal with this kind of development.
Well, hey, the longer you spend following the project, the more callous you build up and the more capable you are of dealing with, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know if that's true. I think I've gotten worse.
Not everybody.
They've shaved off the calluses off.
Before Star Citizen, I had very little patience, but now I have so much patience. It's hilarious.
Hey, there you go. And that's a virtue.
I can just wait for whatever. I don't even care. Like,
enjoy the ride.
I get it. They're gonna take a while to build this. Like, that's fine.
It's gonna take a lot longer than we thought.
2035? No, I'll still be alive.
Yeah.
But this is so much better than anything we imagined. I mean, it is so incredible. I mean, what we have right now is so incredible.
Jordan, when are you getting your new internet?
What's today? Wednesday? Friday.
Yeah, Friday.
I get fiber on Friday.
Jordan is going to be
fiber in your area?
rock solid.
I don't
fiber.
Your audio's perfect. Your video keeps dogging out on us a little bit. So guys, we could chat about this forever. This topic could like meander and roll along forever. So let's dive into it. So first question, what's the deal with Theaters of War? Todd Pappy responds basically saying it's being worked on, tested. We'll give you an update when it's ready. Okay.
We know that they're holding Theaters of War because of the server tick rates. When they get that the FPS solid and steady to 60 FPS, then they'll let it out. I'm surprised he didn't say that.
They need 30 FPS for their tick rate.
Server tick rate
30
for
hertz.
Consistent client 60 FPS.
The only thing I have to say about this is I think Theaters of War deserves more than a sentence response. I would have liked to hear more out of it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I don't know what though.
Exactly. Well, I mean, what more do you want to hear?
We've gotten
they could say
those statements multiple times this year, and they've told us like until they get the servers stable, solid, consistent performance, they can't release an FPS
Well,
shooter
how about
that's going to be amazing if people are going to hate it.
Sure, of course. But how about this real quick? Is you guys think it's the server tick rate, but the last time we heard Sean Tracy, it wasn't the server tick rate that was the problem. It was the client performance that they were surprised about being so bad.
Well, the server tick rate's causing the client performance.
Right.
And Todd Pappy had talked about the server tick rate. So, and it's until they
it's
all
hard,
get it.
It's hard to
smoothly.
do precision, like data precision or tracking a bullet from your gun to its target at just 8 ticks a second. So like this very inaccurate. The weapon there's so much zone of uncertainty involved in that it's hard to actually hit like a pinpoint target. So what was happening in Theaters of War was people would miss a lot of shots that you would normally miss in the normal game, and it was very annoying because like I play 64-bit most of the time, like tick rate. I like the 128 better. So the faster the tick rate is, the more smoothed out the FPS gameplay is going to be, which is what needs to happen for the FPS gameplay in Theaters of War to actually take off, because nobody wants to play it where it's janky and your shots don't go where you want them to go, your ships don't go where you want them to go, anything like that. It's just they need to wait.
When it comes out, it's got to be good.
Yeah, if I've got the sneaking feeling that over time they're really going to start pushing Theaters of War to be more of an esport, more of a battle royale kind of.
Well, it's not a battle royale.
Let's not get caught up on that. It's not the traditional, shrinking island kind of thing. It's a staged, approach or whatever it is. There's many modes. We can start quoting the modes that they are. Let's not get sidetracked.
What, like a Battlefront or
Battlefield game?
Yeah, good.
Battlefield?
So the idea is that if it ends up becoming more of a like an esports kind of thing, and they want to get that moving, they've got to have it working solidly. So I think they just want to get it right. Yeah.
If they get it out right and they push it out, it's going to be huge on its own.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. It's huge standalone. Yeah. They can, eventually they could make that a freaking iPhone game if they wanted, or like a mobile game, right?
Jeffner says that CGI doesn't yet have the chops to make Theaters War into an esport.
No,
I disagree.
They don't. Well, and Theaters of War isn't really a game that's set up for esports.
In the short term, guys, I 100% agree with you, but I think there's definitely some long term plans in there, and they've got to evolve to that point. So yeah,
I just don't think we'll see 25-man pro teams.
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
No, I don't think anybody here was claiming that either. Just it'll turn. Yeah, but it could support a mode one day, I think, is what Stim's saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fair statement, Doc. Fair statement. Okay. Let's dive into the next question. Okay, what is preventing random FPS AI from appearing on planet/moon surfaces outside of missions or set locations? Is this plan to make the planetary surfaces feel less empty?
Planetary nav mesh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which means they still haven't figured out how to navigate on a planet.
Yeah.
Or they'll follow you down.
Yeah.
I had to fight a security NPC.
Did they
in the atmosphere?
Did they get out of their ship?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, they mean FPS AI. Sorry.
FPS AI. Yeah. So even the FPS AI that's in game, if you can lure them out of the facility that they're in, they just get lost. They have no idea what to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
So it's a technical
It's pretty funny to see them just shoot into space. Yeah.
They don't know where they are.
Nope.
It's too big.
Yeah. Well,
it's tricky to get them on the lift while you're getting shot at by them too. So.
I guess it's like, how the hell did you do that, Doc?
They're moving from one of those. What do they call those zones? Like a bounded zone to almost an unbounded zone. Like
they're
mutable.
They call them physical grids.
Is mutable to immutable? I mean, it's not quite right, but it's moving to a massive area.
It's just a different container, or a different level of the same container as far as the planetary things.
Don't all AI have like a day-night cycle? Like they have a full-on cycle. So if you were at a mission, they would have something.
These don't.
Okay.
Not yet. And
Yeah,
the AI in the bunkers are very simple. They're hide and shoot AI.
Are they there
and they
until
don't
you
hide
kind of
very
proc them, like you enter and then they start moving around?
Yep.
Okay.
well. Yeah.
When
they
you
don't-
take the mission, they spawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Or when you
They're
know, you'll
there.
see
They're
the.
there all the time. It's not when you take the mission. They're always there.
Or when the mission's created.
Because I've gone to those places without the mission and they're still there.
So what if somebody took that mission?
It's unlikely. I play on empty.
It is
servers.
unlikely.
Yeah. Doc plays a lot, so I can see that. I see that working out.
Uh,
I mean, it's possible that every time it's happened, but it just seemed unlikely.
Okay, now we get a question referring to Death of a Spaceman, saying that it was written way back in February of 2013, which is absolutely true. Obviously, there have been some changes since then. Example: landing zones were planned to have an in-engine cutscene versus now players pilot in manually, which is way cooler in everyone's opinion. In brackets, while this is probably currently undergoing a design rework, could you tell us what you know to be different now and what some possible plans are? So what's changed? Chris Roberts basically came in saying that there's going to be a calling all devs later in the month, which is going to basically be a Death of a Spaceman episode with himself, Richard Tyler, core gameplay director, which includes the actor teams where they're going to go over the current plans. And so he also said that we're going to start to see the results mid next year as they begin to bring in medical gameplay, which was a massive revelation.
Exciting. Yeah.
Well, we knew medical gameplay was coming because we've been seeing all these teasers about it, but we didn't know when. So it looks like it's not going to be for a few patches at least.
But still, we know it's coming soon. So that's
the good news is there's going to be a calling all devs with Chris Roberts and Richard Tyler later this month.
That's
I think the big takeaway from this is if something hadn't changed, even if it was like even just a little bit, they wouldn't need to do a calling all devs on this specific subject.
Right.
So that doesn't mean that Death of a Spaceman is dead.
Yeah.
But like they might have tweaked things a little bit and they want to update us on it.
Well, yeah, they have the better concept of what the game is going to be now. So like
exactly.
The nebulousness of calling of Death of a Spaceman to begin with was very aggravating to me anyways. So I'm glad they're going and they're firming it up and they're saying, okay, well, now that we have
it to the current universe,
we can update. And that doesn't mean it's going to be done then either. Like if something else they develop comes along and makes something different, then they're going to change it.
I don't think the basic concept in Chris's mind is changing. It's just the details of how it's going to be implemented are going to be,
I think the basic concept of eventually you'll die if you die too often, it will probably stick, right?
Yeah, I like the use of nebulous. It's a big word, Doc.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have that one. That's awesome.
That was more than four letters.
Yeah.
Well,
I average 6.
So Death of a Spaceman has to change. Like, I've heard. So, Jordan, you've told me yourself that when you're drinking your Pumpkin Jack's beer on either Terra or on Earth, Goss, that you're not planning on using your primary character to go out and explore the world. Yeah, you're not going to die. And if you've seen the movie Lucky Number 11, it's kind of like two like mob bosses hanging out in their giant empire buildings, not ever going out. And we don't want that to be the experience for Star Citizen either. Is it that everybody has alt accounts? Who engages in FPS if the chance is you've got like 9 lives or whatever it is before you die?
10 systems that are pretty safe, relatively safe, out of the 100 systems that are planned. We don't know how many systems we're going to have at live in 3 to 5 years. If we have 15, 20 systems, how many of those are going to be safe systems?
Relatively safe is. So
what's that?
Like, we also don't know how relatively safe.
Yeah, I don't think we can look at systems like
did actually explain that they're going to be
they allow weapons to be safe and used inside the city locations, then you're going to be able to be touched anywhere. It just depends on who's willing to take the punishment.
If you have a contract on your head, Jordan, it doesn't matter where
we know. Relative. That's why I said relatively safe.
Relatively safe.
Relatively safe.
Clarifying. Relatively safe. I mean, you're not going to get shot in the head sometime
What do you think, Mike?
or stabbed in the back,
Mm.
which is more likely how.
I'll be watching out for you, Doc.
All right.
I only go where the money is. So.
Moving right along
Yeah, let's move on. Okay.
to my question.
This is a great one. How do you envision
Finally.
NPC crew gameplay? This is a great question. Now, this was
And only
much
halfway
more
answered
verbose, the way that Joran had written it, and everybody jumped on this. It's a great question. We've been wanting to have it for a while. Let me read it out. Todd Poppy says, first step. Okay. So really, how do you envision NPC crew gameplay? Do you want to cover the answer, Joran, and try and do it in as little as 5 or 6 sentences?
Sure. Well, I'll read that, and then we can dive into it. So the first steps are building out the player functionality to those roles: the captain, engineer, etc., similar to pilots and turret gunners. So they haven't actually fleshed out those roles in multi-crew spaceships yet for players. Like, what's an engineer going to do? What's a captain going to do? What's a navigator going to do? What's a pilot going to do? As opposed to, and right now there's one person that does everything on the ship, and all the other stations are non-functional. So that's one of the first things. They can't design an NPC to fill these roles until they actually define what those roles are. Similar to pilots and turret gunners, we currently have some of those AI functions like flying the ship, but we still need to build the glue for AI. Like, what do they do off duty? So there's 24-hour cycles. They're on shift, they're off shift. They go to the bathroom, they take a shower, they go to the mess hall, they go to the entertainment area, they're playing pool.
Cruise mess.
Cruise mess.
Mess calls are on the land.
Etc. The captain owner of the ship will need a way to set what roles he wants the NPC to do. The captain will also need a way to interface with the AI to tell them what they want them to do, like fly to a set location or attack a certain target. So we know that's going to depend on setting up whatever the AI interface is going to be. And that's one of the big unknowns. Like, how are we going to be able to give them directions? How flexible is that going to be? How detailed is that going to be? We know Dan Truffin had a Calling All Devs a couple of years ago, and he was saying where they'll have their normal day-night cycles for whatever their roles are, and then they'll have like a red alert where, okay, you're under attack, and then they go to battle stations, and then they function differently, and then you can designate targets and that sort of thing. But how much more functionality will we be able to dial in, other than saying, okay, well, pilot, set destination to this point, engineer, do whatever you do down there in engineering. Todd Pappy said that a highly rated NPC will be as capable as a player. So in taking the information that we have now, which this didn't really add to, so I was about 80% disappointed in this answer, but knowing that we still have a long way to go, I was really hoping that Tony Zurovic would be able to talk about this, because at the last 2 minutes of CitizenCon last year, he talked about it, and he said, I could talk about this for an hour, and we've got nothing since then. He's the one who's designing this. So players will be a lot more flexible. They'll have a lot more personal initiative, but on a long mission, or if you're in the middle of a battle and they have wife aggro, like I had at the beginning of the show, it's like, I gotta go. Dog's gotta be taken out. Kid aggro, kid fell down, hurt his head, whatever, all these things happen, and you're in the middle of a battle, and it's like you got key personnel that have to step away. NPCs are going to be more reliable, but less flexible. And then the last part of this was an important part of the question. We are still planning to allow players to take remote control of the NPCs. So yeah, we felt that that was still going to happen, but it's nice to have them actually confirm that, because that's a huge part of our future planning for gameplay in the universe. When you're on your Carrack and you've got 4 or 5 NPC crew, and you want to play with your friend who's 3 star systems away, and instead of spending 2 days to get to the same place so you can play together, they just pop in, take over your NPC, and you can hang out and do stuff together. Mike, what are your thoughts?
I never liked. Okay, I understand the reasoning behind the NPC thing, especially when they know their demographic is a bit older, and like the whole thing that you just mentioned, like the wife aggro thing. But I don't I don't know. Maybe I don't like it for the MMO I have in my head, right? Like we talked about earlier
Yeah.
about we'd love for them to talk more and say more about the game because we don't have that full understanding of what's in Chris's head of what the vision of the game is. Because like my vision of the game is think of it in this scenario where this is where I find it problematic a little bit, is there's a battle going on. There's a couple big ships, like a couple of javelins, right? And these javelins are launching ships like Gladiuses out of them, and
there's only one hangar bay in a javelin.
Whatever, I don't own one, but yeah, it's hypothetical, right? Anyway, we don't have a javelin in the game, so it doesn't matter. But the idea of the fact that when you kill that pilot, that first Gladius pilot, you would hope he'd be out of the fight. And this is that scenario where he wouldn't be. You know what I mean? Because now that player can assume the NPC. You don't know that. How do you know that player can't assume the NPC?
You have a finite number of bodies on your ship. So let's take this scenario where, okay, I spend a lot of time with javelin owners, and I'm part of an org that is that actually Starlet, who's in chat, started Hammer Time. That it's essentially around a core of javelins, Idrises, Krakens, and large capital ships for PvE gameplay. Very late stage, we do a lot of theory crafting, and so we figure out, okay, well, you may have 10 to 20 players on a javelin running 80 NPCs. All the crew stations, turrets, engineering, everything else. And so you end up having a battle. And if you do, in this case, if you do have people that can step into these NPCs, and we don't know that all NPCs are going to have that capability. Most of them are not. This goes back to the multiple game package customizable NPCs that are remote controlled. Not all NPCs are remote controllable. So if you were to have,
we don't know.
He's making assumptions.
How do we know that?
We don't know that.
Currently,
I'm making assumptions too, to be clear.
Yeah, we all make assumptions, but that's why we can help each other. That's why we can help each other kind of rein in our theory crafting, right?
Yeah.
So absolutely, but based on the information that we have, all available information on NPCs, multiple character slots, we're basing it on the multiple character slots give you a customizable NPC that has that remote control ability. Random NPCs that you go out and you just hire off the street don't have that capability, to the best of our understanding. So that's one limitation. So if you have all these NPCs that you hired,
I don't know.
You're spending extra money. What's that, Doc?
I've never heard that before. The only thing I've ever heard about the customizable NPCs is that you can design them, you can make their clothes what you want them to be, and you can name them, and that's about it. They function.
Yeah, that post does actually have the remote control.
PC.
Let's move on, because I think we're kind of spiraling around. We're spiraling around something that we think could happen. So
a lot of really good information about that.
Hopefully we'll find
We need calling all devs on this.
Right?
There we go.
Yeah. We need Tony Z to give us that hour that he said he could do.
Oh my God.
He wanted to do.
I think we need interest on that hour, don't we? We need like 5, 10, 15 hours now at this point.
5 hours of Tony Z.
Yeah,
please.
no doubt. Okay, let's move on to the next question.
That's the biggest thing we missed at CitizenCon, huh?
No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
No Tony.
But I got to say, thank you so much, Jordan, for raising that question. That's a huge question. I appreciate you putting it out there. Everybody that backed that question
answered for a while.
Yeah, thank you so much for backing that one. That was a big one. We all pulled together.
Thanks, community.
And we got it going. Next one. So what is the plan for computers and the blades? Currently, we only know about using blades for turret automation and for slaving. Do you have any other ideas currently for what blades could be used for? And this was a massive dump by
They have some ideas.
Oh my God.
Some idea.
It's awesome.
Just a few.
It's awesome. Okay, let's run through them. I'll just read them out, and if you get excited about it, talk about it. So first thing is missile defense system in combat. Automatically fires correct countermeasures to avoid being hit by missiles. Isn't that cool? You immediately be able to just have a way of, you don't have to hit the countermeasures. You basically make it easy mode for yourself on the defense side. I can tell you, as a space trucker, I will like that one. Next one, encryption decryption blade. So as a data runner, able to help keep data encrypted to prevent theft, and also provides the means to attempt decrypting data. Very cool. If you're an info runner.
Yeah, this question was by Carrot.
We need calling all devs on data running.
Yeah, we totally do. Emissions controller, so allows the pilot to set strict limits on the emissions production, providing additional warnings and shutting down unnecessary systems automatically. This is amazing for stealth combat or for stealth stuff. So let's say on a terrapin, you've got that special venting. You may want it not to vent during certain times. You may want to, limit your speed to make sure. You would think a ship would be able to do that on its own, but it's kind of neat that we can do that. And then this is a big one here, and that is the offensive E-War blade and the defensive E-War blade. So basically, these are either enhancing offensive E-War capability or enhancing defensive E-War capability. In the offensive side, you can speed up or strengthen offensive programs or viruses to offer new ones to run. On the defensive side, you can grant further protection and reduce potency of offensive programs. What do you guys think of E-War gameplay? Let's hash that one out.
The first thing I think about, and this is more geared towards the fact that there's like 500 different blades, is that balancing of this on top of all of the other balancing they'll have to do is going to be quite difficult, because there's no doubt that one of these blades will end up being pretty meta in some way in a fight combat situation.
Yeah.
All right. So, but there's obviously many non-combat ones, but these two, I'm just thinking like, oh man, this on top of EMP, on top of distortion weapons, on top of, it's a lot. They have a lot on their hands.
Most of the EMPs in game right now are because they don't have this in game yet. Like the Sentinel's EMP is not supposed to be an EMP. It's going to go away.
Yeah, because they're supposed to be an E-War ship, right?
Right. Yeah. It's the same with the Hawk, or maybe the Hawk is supposed to have an EMP. I always forget, but yeah,
I think Hawk's supposed to have it.
Yeah, it's small.
So the E-War is going to be important, but again, you're not going to have 4 or 5 slots on your smaller fighters. You're going to have 1 or 2 slots. So are these going to be so powerful that it necessitates having them, or will they be something you decide if you want to try and run that, if you're good at writing code quickly, or however they make the E-War systems work?
I feel like these are those little tweaks that you can make to your ship to make it your own.
Yes.
Exactly.
And also things
which is
that
cool.
You'll be able to like the Endeavor. I keep on call it enchanting or crafting, but like super tuning, your blades or whatever.
Chris mentioned crafting, so I guess that's coming.
He did actually say crafting. It's like,
Nice.
everybody's so into crafting. I want to craft some stuff.
Oh,
Give me some
crafting's
cloth.
huge.
Give me some cloth. I want to make an entire
Crafting is part of progression, right? It's part, and we don't have levels that we progress
I guess
through.
it's part of MMOs.
So, as well as customization,
Like
making your experience your own.
Making your own stuff. Yeah. And
If you guys don't mind, can I take 1 second here to make a statement to all the haters when I told them that there'd be crafting in this game? That's
Go for it, man. Go for it.
All these years that there had to be crafting in their game.
Yep.
Thank you, Chris.
Well
I
done.
appreciate it.
Well done. Thanks, Chris.
it will be crafting.
All right, let's dive into
the problem was Chris had said there wouldn't be crafting before this.
Yes.
So it was
which
kind
is
of
why
like,
everybody said there wouldn't be.
You know
But
what?
I wouldn't
it
call
had to
them
be.
haters. I would just say they
they
disagreed
hate me.
with you because of the knowledge that they had.
The
true,
universe
true.
that we have now is so different, so much bigger, so much deeper and broader than it was even 5 years ago.
Yeah, let's just say there's a lot that's changed, and Chris Roberts gets to change his mind on crafting too.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad he did. I always thought crafting would be fun. I was just one of those people who would have to not really shit on people, but like let people know that so far the chairman has said there's not going to be
like shitting on
crafting.
people.
Like,
Of
I
course.
sometimes call it that, but
This is the last
more
information
like
that we have,
reality.
so F off.
Yeah, more reality checking people, but
Kind of like me and the Pioneer.
Yeah.
Well, I think
gotta be
I don't
careful.
want to take up any more time, but I think it's important to note, like, for situations like this, right? He's allowed to change his mind. So when you look back at the okay, this was the last thing you said, that doesn't mean that it's concrete. You
Right.
know,
Thanks, Dan.
like a lot of people like have this gatekeeping about things. Like I have more knowledge than you, and he said this in 2013, therefore it's true. Well,
Yeah.
I think this year more than anything proves that it doesn't mean
far-
that necessarily because so much has changed.
Yeah.
far more than we ever had before. And I love that we are getting so much information. I think that we've been starved for that all year.
100%.
And between Chris's data dump and his post a few weeks ago and this, I mean, we're really getting a lot of information that we've been starving for, and it really fills in a lot of holes in our knowledge that we've been holding on to those statements from 2014, 2013.
Yeah.
Well, this
All I want to say
Well, I
right
mean,
now
it
is,
was
Amen,
the
Brother
only thing
Jay.
we had.
Keep saying
ago.
it.
It was the only things we had, so I mean, we had to go off of that.
Yeah.
Like,
But
everything else was just theory crafting, and you know, sometimes theory crafting turns out to be accurate, but
Yeah.
sometimes, most times, it's complete horse shit, and it never comes anywhere close to fruition.
Yeah.
So it's like
my
I
crafting,
can't really
theory
say.
crafting was
Yeah.
was
Like
I got lucky.
some people's theory crafting skills are bad.
Well, yes. Some
and
people
Jordan
very
gets
bad. Some
overhyped, so
people's
I
are
have
very
to
bad.
keep him tamped down sometimes.
You
yes,
know what?
I do.
Yeah.
But I'm
Let's-
often right.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Okay, so there's a mining blade which will speed up mining scans and provide additional information. Things like pinpointing pockets of ore, mineral density, etc. That's a really big one, especially for all the miners that we have out there.
It just points out that there probably won't just be little boulders on the surface, right?
Right.
There's going to be a lot more in the future.
It shows that it's probably going to be a lot more. Yeah.
I think speeding up scans is
eventually.
going to be huge.
Good morning, Mentake.
right?
There's our mining division
Hey.
chief there.
Yeah,
Nice.
Mintake, that's his name. Don't let anybody fool you
Yeah.
otherwise.
There,
There, you bastard.
Mintake, tell us about if you're excited about the mining blade, because that is awesome. Anything you can do to speed up mining scans and providing additional
Make anything
information.
more efficient.
That's great.
Yeah, and
great.
that's what the blades really are, is to make certain things more efficient and more effective. And and like Mike was saying, is that you're going to make your ship your own. You have to make choices because you may only have 4 slots or 8 slots for blades, and you've got all these choices. And like the people that want to have like all AI turret blades, and it's like, okay, well, you can have so many turret blades, but you've got to trade off. Okay, well, you can't have an E-war blade, you can't have a shield management blade or missile defense system blade, and you've got to make these choices on what are you going to use.
Yeah.
Tyron wants his Orion. I wonder if the Orion's going to have like processing blades, not processing, in the foundry, the refining. Yeah. Some like refining blades, maybe speed up refining or something. Or
It says, am I excited? Does Jordan like pumpkin spice?
Nice.
Yes, I do.
Okay, moving on to salvage database. So it's interesting to hear that one of the options will be not just like a processor, like all the ones we've spoken about before, or almost like a coprocessor, one that specifically focuses on, you've heard of math coprocessors and physics processors and stuff. So these almost seem like that, where we're now entering into like databases. So a salvage database, which would speed up scanning wrecks and provides additional information, i.e. pinpointing valuable ship items, showing materials contained with wrecks, etc. So that, it's funny. I called it a database. Now it says it's talking about, speeding up scanning. Yeah, it seems just like the
I can
mining blade,
envision
doesn't
in
it?
my head how this works.
They called it
Like
database.
Say for example, like, all right, so Joe Rune knows a lot about the Javelin, right? But I know nothing about it, but I happen to come across a wreck. If I use this scanner, you know how when you have a box mission or something like that, it'll tell you exactly where the box is. There's a little icon. I bet you that's like kind of what this salvage thing would do. It'd be like
resources on the ship.
This is where the power plant is. This is where the shields are.
The way I understand salvaging is supposed to work in the future is you get coordinates to where you need to go to salvage it, and this is going to give you more detail on what you're going to salvage. So you might know you're going to salvage an Idris, but this might tell you you're going to salvage an Idris that was carrying a cargo full of diamonds, and was short staffed or whatever. And then when you get there, you scan it, you get better details from your scan. You see where fracture points are for easier cutting up and whatever. This is how I'm assuming this works.
Yeah, the
More
next
like it it checks. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the next one. Go ahead, Doc. I want to move on to the next one here because I was just saying that
Yeah, no, that's fine. We can move on to the next one.
the criminal database makes more sense as a database because you are tapping into a list of known criminals or unknown activity, unlawful activity, and the ability to accept bounties and track them down.
Comes from where it looks at the name of the wreck and then it checks it online to see what it was doing when it crashed, kind of like to make it common terms. So it checks spectrum for it.
Okay. Yeah, that could totally work for the salvage.
And pull up like the manifest and shit like that. So I guess there's some database to it, but it's weird that it speeds up skating.
Yeah. It just reads like it shouldn't be a database. Okay, and then we've got like a hit list. It's funny, they label this as pirates, so similar to criminal database, but to be used by criminals. Bad people can view and accept contracts to take care of people. They talk about a hit list in like the opposite of a bounty hunting list. But we always talk about when we're out there fighting and someone kills us or they say something bad, and we say, "Oh, we've added you to our list," and like people we're going to hunt down. And
Is there an actual list?
Yes.
It will not. Okay. Yacht Club doesn't have one of those. Yacht Club is non-partisan when it comes to all that kind of stuff. So there's no official Yacht Club list.
Yacht Club has a list.
No, we do not. No, we do not.
And you're all fucking on it.
All of you. All of you.
Elsie is definitely on it. No.
Anyone that's ever said, "I need more hair," you're all on it. Hey, Elsie, good to see you. All right, moving on. So. Enhanced route
Elsie actually
navigation
runs our
trade.
FPS ops.
She's awesome. He's awesome. Whenever I see the Elsie name, I immediately think female, but it's definitely a guy. All right. Hit list. So we've done that one. Next one, enhanced route navigation trade / exploration. So essentially enhanced star map navigation options lets the pilot know how dangerous the route is that they're taking, enables them to pick routes based on speed, safety, or avoiding certain areas. That's
huge.
Massive.
Yeah, that's something every cargo handler is going to want.
I need a bunch of those.
So that one and the next one are the ones that I'm most excited for. The next one being the trade database, where it allows traders to view / buy sell prices in different places in the universe while on the move, rather than having to be at a trade station. But I want to hear SaltEMike tell us about what he thinks on this one, because I know he's a trader at heart like me.
Just alt tab.
That'd be awesome
Yeah,
for all these websites that have been made.
I know. I was thinking about those like Galog and Sigelian's thing and what they're putting together. Man, if
they knew that this was coming, though, they were doing great things for the community for right now. But
they'll shift. They knew the risk was there.
We've got years ahead of us, and I'm sure that there's still going to be lots of ways that these third-party websites are going to have a lot of value for us.
Well, we still don't have APIs, so these third-party websites right now are doing it all manually, which is crazy. Like they're either digging into the game files or they're either digging through game files or going in and going everywhere and writing down the prices. So once we get the API, this will all be a lot easier.
For sure.
But that's who knows when.
All right. So moving on from trade, we then have Shield Management Blade, which provides advanced shield control options to allow finer control of shield management. We then have Stellar Charting System, which is huge as well. It makes it easier to discover jump points if and when they move. That's confirmation that jump points are moving, which we heard about, but hadn't heard in a while. And possibly also makes jump travel easier. That's good.
I like this one. It goes back to the old information getting re-established.
Right.
First time we heard about jump points and being able to find them in a while. Yeah, reconfirmed.
Yeah.
And then Item Lock Blade, which further enhances the targeting system to allow the pilot to lock onto specific parts of the ship, so they're able to take out individual systems. This is big when it comes to our time to kill disabling. That's good. That's something every pirate will have to have. Good for bounty hunters. Yeah.
Well,
that too. Yeah.
I guess.
Good for everybody. We die and blow up less.
Anybody in combat, absolutely.
I just feel like pirates are always going to target the life support. Best.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
It depends. Are they evil pirates or are they honorable pirates?
And are they trying to take the ship?
I shoot for engines already.
Like if they're trying to repair the ship and then fly off
honorable pirates out there. They just want your money. They don't want to kill you because it if you come
They
back,
don't
they
get
get more
money
money.
for that.
It's bad for business.
Exactly.
take out your target audience.
And
Yeah.
and if they're really evil, then a lot of people are going to come after them and cost them a lot of money.
So then this is a big one, cargo manifest masker. So this is smuggling. So disguises the items in your cargo manifest to allow you to hide contraband from initial ship scans. Now we had heard that this was going to be a type of cargo crate at one point. So it's interesting to hear that now there's,
Which also could
Well,
be
It says
cargo crate.
initial.
Yeah, there could still
ship
be
scan.
there can still be crates.
And-
You can still
Yeah.
get your cargo hold shielded aftermarket. So.
Shielded cargo holds, shielded crates, cargo manifests. So there's going to be a lot of different options for this, I think. And
It's always weird to me to think about somebody smuggling, putting that on their manifest. Like 3 bottles of Elysian ale. Put that on the manifest. It's illegal in every system we're going to, but I'm putting it on the manifest. So
yeah, that is really interesting actually. Why would
has to
you,
be in some ways.
it's also like the smuggling ship concept. They're like, this is a smuggler ship. And you're like, well, I'm never smuggling in that piece of shit. That's what they're going to be looking for.
But they have talked about initial scans and longer, deeper scans. So if they're continually scanning and they're able to refine their data, then that they can burn through whatever your masking is, or like they talked about with stolen ships, where you could have an ownership masking system where you're spoofing that you're the owner of a stolen ship, but if you get a really thorough deep scan, they'll burn through that and they'll see it's like, oh, you're in a stolen ship, and then it's like you're toast.
Yeah, and this also enables every cargo ship to have a smuggling capability, while there's only a couple that we're aware of that have those smuggling areas in the ship, like the Taurus did, maybe still does, and then
Maybe
the Star Runner, obviously.
the Phoenix has a shielded compartment already. So
That's right. Yeah.
so guys,
Yeah.
we've done our first giveaway for the night already. We've been moving through things so hot and heavy that we've been missing them. At 8:23, we close giveaway number 1. The winner is Flames All Over the Place. So Flames All Over the Place.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
congratulations. Yeah, congratulations. Contact me in the Discord. You need to make sure you get into the Discord. You also have to be following the show, but I'm not so worried about that anymore. But contact me in Discord. We'll make sure we get that to you. I'll probably send it to you tomorrow, okay?
Follow the damn show.
yeah, we need to get to 2,000.
Click the button down
So
there somewhere.
it says
Find
we're at 2,000 already. So I wonder if it's just approximating. It's very generous. It's rounding up.
It's very generous at rounds.
Okay, last 2. Internal security system for larger ships. So provides internal ship info, positions of life forms aboard the ship, and the ability to unlock individual doors. That's cool.
That's friggin' huge for those of us with cap ships.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're venting people into space when there's issues.
No, that's part of it. You're gonna have to be able to do
Well,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
You need to know where the people are if you're gonna vent them to space.
Jordan's walking down corridor 5.
Vent him.
Shut down bulkheads 1 through 7.
I'm surprised
and
that
vent.
that's not an automatic system. So like anybody who's got a larger ship is going to want to have that.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm hoping that they come with something like that already, and this just enhances it because.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah.
Well, so you may have the ability to lock and unlock individual doors, but what this is saying is that it provides internal ship info with the positions of life forms. So that might be the extra internal scanning that this blade provides for you, which shows you where everybody is. It's like that. I mean, that's a winner. Like, how hard is it to find somebody hiding on your freaking 890 jump?
Or your Carrick.
Or Carrick even, yeah.
Yeah,
I used
especially
to play
now.
hide and seek on the Starfarer when it first came out.
Oh god, the Starfarer
I
too,
used to
yeah.
play that with people, but they didn't know they were playing it with me.
It's not quite called Stowaway.
Yeah, it's a game. I still miss the invisible bug. I have a video on YouTube where I went on someone's ship invisible and just laughed a bunch and tormented them.
Yeah.
They went crazy
I remember that.
They'd stop their ship a whole bunch and get out and run around.
Yeah, I've heard several people say that it's like, it doesn't matter if you have a javelin, we can sneak aboard with the small team of commandos and kill you all. It's like, not with this blade, you can't. It's like, F you.
So we've got
Oh,
some,
they're in that corner. We'll lock them in.
right.
And then just
We've got some
just vent it.
We've got some great news here, guys. Starlet, who is an amazing backer of the game and a wonderful supporter of the Yacht Club, is donating another rock for giveaway at the end of the show. So isn't that awesome? Starlet, you're absolutely amazing. So we've got 4 giveaways total.
Amazing
We've already given away one of Miguel Johnson's Artemis, its new album, which is available on Bandcamp. For $10, it's a really great album. We've got 3 keys for that. We've given away one already, and at the end we're going to be giving away a rock, care of Starlet. Thank you so much, Starlet. And the last blade, last but not least, is the drone management blade. Drone gameplay. This is also for larger ships, and it's going to allow the control of onboard drones. So are we not going to be able to control them without that blade?
I know there's drone control seats like in the Carrack. Where each person.
So how does it? So what does that
I
work?
think this allows for more autonomy, where the drones control themselves more. You don't have to have somebody in the control seat operating it.
I think this is the best example of these were very clearly like written down in a meeting, and not too much has gone into like when they're going into the game where things might change a little bit.
Could we do with blades? Like, just, but everybody's throwing out different ideas. Like,
and these were the ones that they all agreed upon. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Also, during that hour, we didn't stream it, but I hosted a live sort of what do you call it? Just a
giveaways
live...
active for music code.
All right. I hosted a live hangout for during that hour when they were answering those questions. It was great discussion. It was really kind of fun. It really had that true bar citizen feel where you're hanging out, just chatting about what the news is coming out. So that was a lot of fun. Thanks guys for joining. We had about 12 people in that. That was really fun. So
yeah, it's pretty cool that you did that. It's a shame I missed that.
Yeah, I want to start doing a few more things like that because it's really intimate. People don't feel like it's having to be streamed. They're hanging out, just having a good time, chatting away. We'll definitely try and do a few more.
We need more. Yeah, definitely need to do more things where we're just kind of hanging out and doing stuff as a group, more get together activities in the Discord, because we have our group shenanigans every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday at 8:45 p.m. Eastern time. Mentake is doing EU time zone at 8 p.m. Central CET, Central European time, on Thursdays and Saturdays.
Richard,
Richard, welcome.
Wow,
welcome,
guys.
everybody.
Thanks for joining in, guys. We are going through all of the basically the SitCon week content that's been going on. Pretty amazing. Right now we're hitting the AMA answers and diving through those, but there's a ton of content this ship. We've got SaltEMike hanging out with us tonight, helping answer questions. We're pretending to all be CIG staffers as if we know what's going on, but clearly we don't.
We are community experts. We're not pretending to be CIG.
Yeah, we sit back in our armchairs and try and pretend. But grats, guys. Thanks for joining us. How was the stream? I mean, I'm sure it was amazing, but tell us a little bit about it.
Mediocre. I mean, it's Captain Richard.
Oh, snap! Shots fired! Shots fired! Always a good time.
And they're all gone.
And for those that are here that didn't come from Captain Richard streams, if you haven't checked out Captain Richard streams, it's awesome. It's awesome. There's a reason why 255 people were watching at the end when they jumped in. So just an amazing time. Check them out if you haven't. Okay. All right. Let's dive in. Hit the next question. So, what milestones are left to create dynamic missions? Jordan, do you want to take this one away?
Did you tell them what all the new people, who we are and what we're doing? And
okay. Fine. Okay. So what we do, guys, is we are the official bar citizen for Star Citizen. Every week on a Wednesday, we go through and we talk about the weekly news, of which it's a really, really busy week. So we're trying to just race through it. We have guests from the community come on. We showcase community projects, whether they're videos, whether they're 3D printed models. And we go through, what's been happening in the verse, and really just kind of dive into the different topics and just try and have fun. And it's a hangout. It's a very interactive experience. So everyone in chat is chatting away, asking us questions. We try and answer them as we go. If we can't answer the question straight away, we have our wonderful moderator, T. Nightster, that is running our giveaways as well, that I'll tell you about in a second. But he's also saving those questions towards the end so we can spend time to answer those questions. Speaking about the giveaways, we have 4 giveaways tonight. We've already given away 1. The first 3 giveaways are albums. It is the latest album by Miguel Johnson, who does specific Star Citizen themed music. It's about $10 for that album on Bandcamp. We've got 3 keys to give away, which is a lot of fun. We're also 2 weeks from now, we've got Game Glass guys coming on, Andy Lee and Draken, and we're going to be giving away probably some more Game Glass keys. The last giveaway we have at the end of the show for tonight is going to be a rock. So hang around. We've got a really kind of good giveaway. That's care of Starlet, one of our amazing backers, that has a rock for everybody to have a chance to win. So is the second giveaway, it's on right now. A second giveaway is started. Yes. So in order to get in on the giveaway, hit bang ship me. So that's the exclamation point ship me, all one word. And that'll give you a chance to try and win. And guys, thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoy the show.
So we were just talking about our group activities that we do Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. We have group events where we have Shenanigans in the Verse. On Mondays, we have Care Bear FPS, where we do FPS missions organized by Elsie, who's in chat with us. I organize Shenanigans on Thursday and Saturday. Mintake organizes events for our EU folks on Thursdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central European time. He always has a lot of crazy ideas. So lots of things blow up, lots of people die, usually cyclones and spaceships involved. But Stem was talking about how on Friday during the AMA that Tony, Todd Pappy, and Chris Roberts were doing. He hosted a online kind of watching party and discussion party in Discord, where we had about a dozen people, and they're just a good hangout. And we like to try to bring people together, and that's what we're all about, is kind of creating this virtual bar citizen on Wednesdays. And our Discord is just super active with a lot of people just hanging out and doing things together. And we want to have more of those sorts of things where we just give people the chance to hang out together. So I mean, everybody is kind of, not kind of, we're all locked down, not socializing out very much. And while we're antisocial nerds, we've become such a social online community, and we've all made so many friends. Trying to have more opportunities to hang out together in the Discord and just share different experiences and talking about things like the Calling All Devs and the AMAs and things like that. So yep. Right now we're just in the process of going through and reviewing all the amazing information that we got on Friday from the AMA, and then kind of discussing it, because we're all long-time high-level backers that have been studying this project with Microscope for many, many years, and we like to be able to share our deep insights and beer.
Yeah, and beer and scotch, and just kind of hang out and have a good time. So the official bar citizen. So Pyro was asking what that is. I put the link in chat. Basically. Before the pandemic, before COVID-19 hit, Star Citizen community members would form local get-togethers, physical in-place gatherings. I know it's a strange concept, right? And so what we've done is we've been carrying the torch with that. Joran was one of the main people that put that together. And so we've decided to take that digital. We've been running this for 82nd episode of Yacht Club. And so it's kind of, nautical themed. You pull your ship up to the Yacht Club, come and hang out, have a drink, talk about what's going on, get some entertainment. That's right. Yeah, guns down, drinks up. So even pirates are welcome. But of course we joke about
just don't be that bad.
Okay, let's move on. So yes. Next question: what milestones are left to create dynamic missions? Let me cover this one real quick. So Tony Zervik came in and he basically said that one of the larger issues that are hanging around is the mission UI and associated logic. They're not able to deal with real-time parameters and need to be converted from Flash to building blocks. So, there you kind of have it. It's just the tech that's lying in the way there.
Yeah,
Do you want to cover more?
We've been talking about that all year, in that moving to building blocks was one of the biggest blockers for content. And Chris talked about that in his chairman's letter on Saturday, and that there were like 3 major blockers to really super increasing the development speed, and the UI was one of the top ones. They couldn't develop new professions. They couldn't develop a lot of the AI systems. Just everything in the universe, they were locked in and held back by the limitations of having to custom design every UI in Flash. And so the 2 years that they've spent in building the tool to let every developer create their own UI through building blocks, we're seeing just massive returns on that. They look so much better. They're so much more responsive. But all the developers can use those tools as through a graphical user interface to create their own UIs. So we're going to see a lot more things developing faster after that. So again, the dynamic missions, another thing that was held up by UIs.
Right.
I hope they rework the quantum travel UI. I hate it.
God,
so very much.
Yeah,
I know they're going to.
I'm sure.
I know they're going to update it. I just hope they completely rework it.
Now, are you talking about
scratch?
the user interface or the user experience, like the UX, like flying through space and how it looks? Because I want that to change.
I like the graphics, the VX of flying through space.
Okay,
it's cool. They've done a good job with that. They're distinct for each ship almost. Like they're using,
and they will be more in the future.
I just want us to be able to see a little bit more. Like I don't want the full Elite Dangerous experience where you don't have any kind of tunneling effect that happens, but I want to be able to see the verse a little bit more. It's such a beautiful verse. It's a shame to kind of feel like you're looking through this massive screen at a beautiful planet that's going by you. I'd want to see a little bit more of that.
Oh, okay. But no, I mean the actual UI, the diamond that you have to line up, that's never been lined up with your crosshair.
Yeah, it's
pointing at it.
The quantum travel UI is really buggy.
Yeah, the systems that you look at where you're going to go are like,
it's not building blocks yet, is it? I don't think.
No,
it's not.
It's still Flash.
Yeah, I think once they get that over, I'm sure they'll clean up some of that.
That's a priority, because it is such a pain, especially when you're in groups.
I think that it should, instead of just circles, dots, and squares, I know they all mean something, but you could have like a symbol of a planet on a planet, or a space station on a space station, because sometimes you're looking at them, you're like, where am I going? I'm just, because
especially when there's a bunch of them close together, and which thing am I actually? And
that's another thing, you need to be able to
a little more bold, but that's it.
Yeah, you need to be able to cycle through those so you can get to the one you want as your destination, not the one that's on top. Because
definitely needs
sometimes
better
you want to go somewhere else, but you have to stop here first. Yeah. So there's a lot of improvement needed in the quantum UI, and that's why I think they should just start over.
So let's move over to the next question.
Make it prettier.
Next question is, can we have an update on quantum and quanta?
Another update after the one we just got recently.
Right, at CitizenCon last year.
You can tell how excited everybody is.
This was the big question for Chris Roberts that beat my NPC question. Like, how's the quantum thing coming? Like, what a great freaking question.
Well, he let us know that they're doing simulation tests with as many as 2 million quanta. I mean, that's
but they
massive.
scale it back to only need a few 100,000 per system. Yeah. But they're simulating multiple star systems in the back end. So all those star systems that we're going to have eventually, like Terra and Magnus and Gauss and Earth, they're being simulated in the back end.
So basically, they've been testing at about 20 systems worth of quanta.
Right. We don't know how many systems. They haven't really said, but they said they're testing the systems with hundreds of thousands of simulated NPCs per system. They ran it up to 2 million, and they realized that it didn't give them any additional data depth than the couple 100,000. That's what Chris answered on the questions that got voted up a couple of weeks ago, which beat my question, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, they were saying that they're testing with up to 2 million, and they don't need any more than 100K per system. So effectively, there's at least 20 systems worth of quanta that they're testing with right now. And it's things like the backend servers that feed the game servers, the things like fuel and repair prices, encounter types and frequencies and probabilities. Service beacons are first in line.
Probability volumes.
Right, probability. Well, but still, it's so cool. I love that. We could talk forever about it. Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, thanks for the sub.
Thanks for the sub, Comic Stud.
Right on, Comic Stud, man. Good to see you.
Pramster gifted subs. Yeah. The one time I don't look at chat, I see it pop up on
Comic Stud was not subscribed. Oh my gosh, man. You've been exposed. That's what happened right there. Thank you, Pramster, for exposing
Bumble Brianna.
The same damn question gets asked every time. Give us an update on Quanta and Quantum, even though we just got a huge deep update from Chris 2 weeks ago. Like,
it's popular.
All right.
Obviously.
People want it.
Obviously, people aren't paying attention.
Nope.
So this is a big question. Let me read it out. Next question.
That's true.
Out of many gameplay loops, such as mining, exploration, cargo hauling, and bounty hunting, which one of these is your favorite? And which one of these do you see to be most fleshed out in the upcoming future? As I've talked to some people, bounty hunting seems to be a joke around the verse, as currently there isn't a way to utilize cryopods, for example. And catching individual bounties, dead or alive, is not a thing yet. Are these some of the things you're going to get ironed out once the core gameplay mechanics are finished, and then polish each individual profession as it's needed?
Can I sum this up before we get into the actual question?
Please do.
It's like, of course they fucking are. Right. As Chris Roberts said, it's like, no shit, we know it's not in yet.
We know it's.
Are you gonna make the game or?
Yeah.
It's.
Are you gonna flesh out these basic systems that we?
Are you actually gonna do anything, or is this it?
At least he didn't say, I know it's first iteration, but what are your plans moving down the road?
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead with the actual answers, Tim.
Sure. So Tony says that he really likes bounty hunting, very interested in it. Right now he's saying missions are predominantly geared towards going somewhere and fighting someone, whereas the major enhancements that he and the rest of CIG have planned is to make the hunting aspect a much larger part of the challenge. This will be the first usage of the virtual PC tech that allows characters to go about their lives, regardless of whether any players are in the vicinity. And a new UI will allow bounty hunters to register to receive select bits of information to help with pursuing their prey, like feedback from comrades, ATC controllers, and NPC informants. So that's super cool, because now we're talking about that living, breathing environment rather than I take a mission and either they spawn
it pops
or
up a UI marker,
right? Like you actually have these quanta going around, living their lives, responding to low supply and demand if they're in trading, and then the pirates are there. They see that all of a sudden there's a big trade route that's gone over here, so now there's a supply of potential targets that they can go and get. It's all supply and demand driven. So that's going to be the same way that it is about bounty hunting as well. It's at least on the NPC side, and then as we get into the PvP side, it'll be a little bit different. But that's not. Joran was not subscribed to the show.
It expired just the other day. I just resubscribed.
So we're taking applications for a new host. I just should put that out there.
Okay, now I don't feel bad doing this. I forgot to click the follow button, so I just clicked it now.
You weren't even following?
Thanks, Sheriff. I don't follow anybody. I watch channel. I click the Star Citizen directory, and then I scroll around, and it's embarrassing who I'm not. There are so many people I should be followed to, and I'm not. And I don't click it because I'm embarrassed, and you saved me from the embarrassment a little bit Joe
So, like,
See,
when,
there you
that's
go.
why I
You
just
know,
clicked it.
it happens. It happens.
So
Like,
when I
thanks-
I don't
thanks
follow
for the,
hardly
thanks for the
anybody.
follow, man.
yeah.
There's people I look at, I'm like, oh, I'm not following them. How is that possible? I watch them
Yeah.
a lot.
So when I
Yeah.
sent you
Yeah,
follow for
somebody the
follow
other
last
day,
week,
I
that
was
meant
like,
nothing
oh
to
my
you
God, I wasn't
apparently.
following It's like, you don't love me anymore.
Oh
Never
God,
loved me
love it.
all these years.
All right, next question, guys, we got to push through these. Okay, next one. There are currently 95 systems, 324 planets, 74 moons, 50 space stations, and 76 asteroid formations in lore. Wow. In game, and interact with
Those are
one.
100-star systems. We got screwed. No.
Right, I'm sure it's coming. We'll get them one at a time.
All right, sorry.
We know
There are
we know,
unknown systems still, so
Right.
they're still out there. We just
That's what those sneaky jump points that we find are for, right?
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
actually a really, really good answer on this one.
Okay, let me finish the question, then we can do the answer. We know another
Yep.
is pretty far along, and there should be 2 to 3 systems that have at least some progress based on progress we can see from squadron trailers. People need to focus and read their questions before they submit them. We have heard that tools can be
You're
developed to
asking
speed
too
up.
much.
I know, right? We've heard that tools can be developed to speed up the process. And you can look at the lore and see some systems are significantly easier to develop than others. Gurzil is just an asteroid field. Tanga is 3 hot planets and no landing zone, etc. That all said, it's still hundreds of planets, moons, asteroid belts, and hero zones that you have to go to. Even working at pumping out 10 systems a year, it would take 9 years from tomorrow to get all of that out. So without commenting on tools, what realistically is your plan here? Great question.
What the fuck kind of question is
This
that?
is a great
without
question. I'm going to
commenting on
defend this
tools-
person. So
No, but
bring it.
it was good up until the end. He said, without commenting on tools are the key to this. And then
Yeah,
and Todd Pappy, let's have it. Go into it.
I think what he's trying to say, and I understand this, he's trying to say, hey, look, we've heard about all the tools.
I
So
love
what we
this
want to know is
question.
like, what is your end plan, and how does that relate to
The tools
you
are
know,
the fucking plan.
This was the whole thing. Is this
for
was
the
3
game.
paragraphs to try to get them to say that they're not going to have 100-star systems.
Yeah, basically.
Like
Okay.
that's basically what this person.
I'm
said.
gonna read it verbatim.
Don't mention
then.
I would've
the
answered
tools
this-
that let you make this super fast now. That
Yeah. I would have answered this
Sim-
releasing 2030 because it's going to take 9 more years. So
Okay.
fuck you.
So he basically says,
Sim, dive into the question.
okay,
The
we're
answer there.
not ready to go full bore on all of the systems. And this is from Todd Pappy. We're building up the tools, knowledge, and people power to be able to deliver the systems quicker. Can't talk about tools. That is what allows us to build faster and faster as they get refined. This is how we have
Exclamation point.
This is how we have adjusted building a moon in a year and building one in 2 weeks. We have the same goals for space stations. A lot of time and work goes into building up these asset packs. Once we have the assets built, we can put locations and planets together fairly quick. Putting gameplay hooks into the locations will take time to place and make locations feel special. Obviously, the quality and level of detail of the solar systems that were initially planned in the very beginning of crowdfunding has drastically changed over the production of Star Citizen. Once we realized that the detail level that we could go into with the planets and the landing zones, we wanted to push the limit of fidelity. Comparing Star Citizen to privateer/freelancer systems, you are getting exponential amount of gameplay on detail in each planet and moon. We are trying to build up the team to deliver solar systems in one drop versus the iterative approach that we currently are doing in Stanton. Interesting. Very interesting.
I mean, I hate to say it because I love Freelancer Privateer, and that's the game that I had envisioned in my head, way back when I backed the game. But there's no denying that, at least with the current player base, that Stanton, maybe 1 or 2 other systems, if they flush out the game systems that we have, that game would be really fun. Not saying that it would be like complete or perfect or anything, but I don't think you need that many systems to enjoy the game if they focus on the gameplay aspects of it, right? Where this person's focused on like how many planets is. I don't know if that's important, and that's kind of what they're implying here.
Well, so for me, in envisioning what I want more out of the universe, I love what we have now, and I love all the iterative development that we're getting. and we have so much right now. And like Chris said in his post a couple of weeks ago, and what he says here in the chairman's letter is that once they flesh out the current gameplay mechanics and the professions that they have, and get them actually more functional, it will be one of the biggest games out there, and with more immersion and more fidelity than any other game that's on the market. But most all of us backed for that vision of multiple star systems and being able to create a home in different areas. And once we have tens of thousands of people in an instance, we need more space to spread out, because we already see where, if you just want to be a Care Bear and you just want to be mining and you don't want to be harassed by people, there's not a lot of places that you can go, unless you go into the less less trafficked areas, and there's lots of those. So right now with 50 people, you can pick some areas to go, and like I almost never run into PvP situations. I almost never. Whereas other people, they end up having that happen a lot. But they're at Grimhex, they're at Levski, they're at Olisar. It's like, well, if you don't like PvP, why are you going places where there's lots of PvP
Right.
going on? It's like going to Jump Town and running cargo and wondering why you got blown up. We have a lot of space, but when we have tens of thousands of people, we need more star systems. We need to be able to spread out. I was just talking with Ed earlier about how when the Eve players come over to Star Citizen and we get these thousands of people coming in,
yeah, it's going to happen though.
It's going to happen. Once Star Citizen is fleshed out enough to where it becomes that appeal for them to be able to give them those massive battles that they want, like they just had with. They just broke their past record for the most number of concurrent players in a MMO battle, like 6,800 or 8,800 people.
What's the safe word for monologuing? We're at like
bananas.
40% of this document. Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
So moving right. I was just saying that we need to have more systems at live to be able to spread out, to be able to have people to choose the kind of life that they want. Once we get Pyro, all the people that want just pirate gameplay and PvP and stuff like that, they're going to spend most of their time there, and then the Care Bears will be in Stanton, and you'll get more spreading out.
You're so naive sometimes. It's delightful.
It's cute,
he might be, but there's no denying that has to be something that has to be here in this game. Like as the game developer, they have to respect the fact that some people would just like to be left alone, and there has to be drawbacks to that. Like, you can't make as much money. There's not as many like of the good items, right? Yeah, and they have said that. So like the idea of somebody like to never have to be involved in being jumped by another player, I think should exist, but they shouldn't be able to succeed at massive levels or anything.
Reducing the likelihood to a very small percentage. Yeah.
I personally believe that there's some places that should be literally never, but they should be like not many and can't do too much. Like Terra.
Thanks for the gifted subs, Griffin Gaming.
Yeah, exactly. Nice one, Griffin Gaming. Thanks so much, man. And Skipper Steve won the second giveaway for the Artemis soundtrack by Miguel Johnson. Congratulations, man. Reach out to me. I will make sure you get that. Griffin Gaming, very nicely done.
I'm 100% with you, Mike. That I want to have a few systems where I just don't really have to worry. And I can spend time in Terra or Earth or Goss, and there may be a remote possibility. And if somebody is really, 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 I'm dead set on causing some kind of grief, and they go to extreme lengths, it can happen, but it's really minimalized.
Oh, geez.
Move right along to the next question. Pyro, Todd Pappy says, yes. That's it.
I saw a meme where the question was scam, and then they had Todd Pappy. Yes. It's like, oh my God. I thought it was real. I was like, what the hell?
I saw a video today where they were talking about how it just a bunch of guys saying, oh yeah, it's 8 years and it hasn't been released. Avatar, the movie, was 25 years in development from concept.
Really?
Now, Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it wasn't that good.
It's one of my all-time
liked
favorite movies, but that's okay.
I know.
There's no accounting for taste. All right.
I know. That's what I'm thinking.
Let's dive in. Okay, so
moving right along.
next question: has there been any progress on the plans for data running and hacking? Well, obviously with those data
They've talked
blades,
about
right? With the Mercury coming out and the Herald being all but forgotten, it seems like at least a baseline commodity transport version of data running would be relatively easy and would add some new options.
And they're not off
Not
with
forgotten,
the
higher priority
Herald
work.
being forgotten thing, because it didn't even have the new HUDs when they did all the ships to the new HUDs. The Herald still had the old legacy HUD.
it.
Right.
They're like, nobody
Nobody-
uses that thing.
I fly it all the time.
Everybody flames the Herald. It's a great ship.
The
What if
Herald is
you're the only
ship that's
one?
Super ugly.
Can you imagine? It's like it would be the big failure of CIG.
Stim, we have 25 minutes before you got to cut out.
I will stay. I will stay as long as I'm needed to. I might have to step away to sign a contract. That's all.
Well, I got to leave in 24 minutes too. So
All
Okay.
right, so let's push through here quickly. Squadron 42 is currently 6 years behind original delivery date. Fuck you. Tomorrow we'll be launching the original inaugural episode of the Briefing Room, which we'll touch on here briefly. Haven't been happy with how effectively we've been showing progress on Squadron 42. We felt the previous format didn't do a good job of communicating how much work is going on. The new roadmap format, which we've been working towards, announced would be changing. Much better job to show people what we're working on with all the different teams, all the different people. We'll touch on that in the chairman's letter. So moving right along from that, they're working on improving how they communicate that. Follow up from the previous question. I'm sorry, this feels like a non-answer. Can you please state which stage of development Squadron 42 is? Also, he answered that, and he's going to answer that more in the other one. Last year at CitizenCon, we saw NPC movement between physics grids. Todd Pappy, currently have a few bugs we need to work out. Will allow AI to pass between ships' planetary surfaces and man-made locations. Are rivers planned? Todd Pappy, yes. I like those answers. What are plans to make those system missions less repetitive and more engaging? They've got quite a few mission modifiers. Take a basic mission, delivering a cargo crate from an outpost to a space station. One or more multiple of these basic modifiers. FPS AI that want that crate. Ship AI that want that crate. Cargo crate that is volatile. Pick up in a hostile location. Drop off in a hostile location. The list can go on and on, modifying the basic missions.
Nothing monumentally new there.
Yeah.
Like pretty basic gameplay mechanics.
Yeah, which they've talked about. I mean, they've got that procedural flow graph where they create these missions that from basic have lots of different variables.
Are there plans to introduce regular randomized world universe events? And yes, that's a big area that they want to do it. They want dynamic events, things like they're doing it right now with the voting
like
for the Imperium.
Invictus. Oh, more like Invictus. There was an actual event, and they had triggered things going on where the ships would move from station to station. Like, that's what he says too. We already did this shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any more brain busters? No.
Can you elaborate on the current thinking on how base building is supposed to work?
This is it.
All right. So basically, iCache is important.
This is where
to make
we
it work.
prove you wrong, Doc.
I'm just kind of reading through it. I haven't had a chance to really dive through this one.
Yeah, they have exciting plans. Basically, iCache will enable us to allow all of you to settle the stars. First came up with the concept of the player-built outpost and land claims. iCache hadn't been technically designed, but now we have a system that will have a much higher degree of fidelity, remembering where each building or component is and what state it is in. So rather than just dropping down a singular outpost, you'll be able to place down various structures and connect them to things like power generators, turrets, resource collectors, hydroponic domes, and so on. The bill settlements for homesteads. With this, we've been thinking about how the Pioneer will work to make her more flexible rather than just spitting out a prefabricated outpost, as we wanted to be more of a mobile fabrication facility that would be near your building site. With the Pioneer, you'll be able to build these structures without having to ship in component parts as long as you have a supply of the raw materials. You don't need a Pioneer to build a homestead. But if you want to build a decent settlement, or you want to build something relatively quickly, as opposed to having to fly in prefab components from a major landing zone, you'll want to have a Pioneer or a friend or someone who's willing to lend their services, like Shausen with IMM, which is a base building org. one of our yacht club family orgs. That's their specialty.
Fantastic. Did we drink when 64-bit Gunslinger asked us to redeem that?
Oh,
Yes.
All right.
cheers, hydrate.
Well, you never remember. So if you miss it, you better drink again. Yeah, that is super exciting. With the new bases, like the new homesteads coming in, the ability to make those, that's incredible. I'm just blown away. I mean, that's the big news of the night for me, as far as us being able to do that. So that's very exciting. Yeah.
So this
next
next
one's
question,
my favorite.
Oh, let's hit it.
You know, there's a lot of controversy around this one. Would you implement Pyro without server meshing? And then Tony says, our current plan is to release both Pyro and the server mesh tech at the same time. However, you know, so we're taking this, and then we're taking Chris Roberts' statement in his chairman's letter, where he's saying that server meshing for the tens of thousands of players in an instance has to have iCache in place first. What we don't really understand is if an early iteration of server meshing, which one of the devs talked about earlier this year, of putting Pyro on one server and Stanton on another server, and you could just transition between the two servers through the jump point. They didn't say yes or no. I personally feel like this wasn't definitively ruled out by the two statements. Mike, how did you interpret all of the information that we have?
Well, I didn't have to interpret anything. I'm happy about reading this because of certain people sharing things that they think are leaks or real information that clearly never was. And it just is justification.
Do you hate the SC Leaks channel as much as I do?
I probably more. I don't think anybody does. I'm actually friends with them, but I hate the fact
for.
No, not necessarily.
I
Like,
hate them with every fiber of my being. I fucking hate the whole concept.
Also, hate is obviously a strong word, but let's say that when I'm them being
I abhor them.
An authority is what I have a problem with. Is people will come to my channel and be like, the leaks channel said this, therefore it's an authority, and I'm like, but it's not. No. And I fought on this one specifically more than anything. That there's no way that this was going to happen. You are not getting Pyro. You are not getting Crusader. You're not getting anything without meshing. I've been saying that the whole time, and they were like, no. Like, okay, let's see.
We know that it has to have meshing. They've said that the single server that's handling the entire Stanton system is maxed out. We have to have meshing. However, what Chris said in his chairman's letter did not necessarily rule out that an iteration tier 0 wouldn't happen before the tens of thousands of players, because there's multiple things here. So
Next
we
question.
may not get it in December. We may not get it till later. Let's move on.
Yep. Chris mentioned the room system in another post. How in depth are you looking to go into the management of pipes, our resources throughout ships? And will that also apply to stations and outposts? Management of
Pretty
pipes,
in-depth.
our resources? Not sure I understand that.
Very, very, very in depth. Pipes and resources,
so rerouting power and stuff. Okay, the piping system.
Yeah, all the power and how that's used. Very in depth.
That's good. That's good. As long as it's fairly simple and easy to work your head around how it works, like intuitive, that'll work well. If it ends up becoming where you have to, go through a training process, then it'll.
I think it will all be easy to learn and difficult to master.
Yeah, that's good. I'll take that.
Is that the phrase?
Yep.
That would be good game design.
Exactly. In 3.12, your plan is to introduce the push-pull mechanic for large objects. You have also mentioned introducing the tractor beam in the future. That being said, can these future mechanics be used to remove units of cargo off a ship?
So allowing cargo to be manually extracted from ships is high on our list of priorities. Will be possible via the tractor beam, but also requires some revisions to the cargo grid system to make it compatible with local storage and iCache. Because we saw in Ship Shape for the Caterpillar many years ago, tractor beam moving moving crates on and off of a Caterpillar in white box. So we know that that's part of what they have planned. So yes,
And that was
your
from the
cargo will
command
be moving
module,
physically.
wasn't it? I remember
No,
correctly.
that was from the tractor beam deck
On the wing.
opposite-
Tractor
It was
beam
on the
or
wing
the
on
opposite
the other
of the-
side. Okay.
Yeah.
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 the opposite
Okay.
of the command module.
Guys, that's it. That's it. We got through that one. Boom.
We
Nice.
did it.
Well done.
There's a disclaimer. The answers accurately reflect development's intentions at the time of writing, but the company and development team reserve the right to adapt, improve, or change the feature or ship designs in response to feedback, playtesting, design revisions, or other considerations to improve balance or the quality of the game overall. So
Thank you, Toast.
nothing is a promise. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Toast.
That's definitely the legal disclaimer.
Things may change over time. Moving right along.
All right. So after all of that, where are we? Okay. After all of that, we then got into the Squadron 42 briefing room.
Wow, Saturday was full.
Yeah, it really was. Okay,
So
actually,
do,
no.
do we want to just kind of touch on what we got from Squadron 42 briefly? Because I don't feel like we got a huge amount of information on it.
No.
Really?
You got an hour on a space station. What are you talking about?
Got an hour plus on that. We got I think we got more information from the 16 minute kind of supercut dev talk from Chris and Brian Chambers. It was great to see Brian Chambers again. That's been a long time. I think the information that we have is that they're making good progress. There were two statements that came out of the hour and 15 minutes, I think it was, video by two of the devs that I took as some of the key information takeaways from the entire thing was that they're very close to the end of development of Squadron 42. That the majority of the content is done, the scenes are done, everything is built out, but now they have to essentially polish all the missions and how everything comes together, and we don't have a timeline on how long that is going to take. A lot of people have been wondering, like, well, do they keep adding in new missions? Do they keep adding in new chapters? Do they keep adding in new scenes? Or do they keep adding in all this stuff? Like, what's going on? We don't have much visibility other than the monthly report, which we get every month, the Squadron 42 report, but doesn't really give us a bigger picture of where we are, what's left. That was a takeaway that I got from the two devs, less so from Chris and Brian as far as timelines, but those two devs really delivered a couple of very small but key comments that essentially they've completed all of the content. Now they have to put it together into the finished game.
Elsie says,
we don't know how long that takes.
effing party markers would be a good start.
Yeah. Right. Fix our party markers, god damn it.
No doubt. Okay, let's.
I mean, they're still figuring out the flight and combat stuff. That's obviously very important for the game.
Yep.
There's still a lot of FPS stuff. So
NPC flight combat behaviors, physicalized damage. I think they have to have in game for Squadron 42, the components operating properly. I think they want all those things, and so those are things that we can measure the progress in the PU.
Yeah,
of these things working in the PU. We know that we're very close in Squadron 42. So
Jerome, we're not agreeing so much this time, and very
you
different
know,
than last time.
we're not far off, and it's like there's nothing to be salty about. It's just things take time.
For time, I skipped over some things that I was salty about.
Yeah, good man. Okay, one thing we can't be salty about is watching the very beginning, the first minute and 25 seconds of the Squadron 42 briefing room stuff, because it was pretty tasty. You guys ready for this?
Yeah, that was good. Yes. Yeah, let's watch that. The mystery ship.
Is that ship?
The mystery ship. And this looks so fucking polished. I mean,
good.
it looks so good, and it looks a lot better than the
when we saw the vertical slice, yeah.
the vertical slice.
Well, it looks like a lot of
3
cinematics,
years ago.
but I think that's what a good part of the game is going to be.
Well, but that
there
looks
are no
in-game to
no
me.
cinematics.
That doesn't look
They're
cinematic.
all in game, and that's what's unique about Squadron 42 is that
You know what I mean by this.
Yeah.
right. But all, and I don't think a lot of people understand that is that these cinematics that in other games are cutscenes are
Yeah.
your actual experience. You're actually there, and you can jump out of the pre-scripted camera cinematic to where you are in this. So all these are not separate cutscenes that are, like so many games, the cutscenes are super high fidelity and high quality, and your actual gameplay is like, well, that doesn't look anything like what I saw in the cinematic cutscene. These are all from the actual game.
I saw the Argo like twice in there. That's the best ship in the world.
Wow.
Remember
All
Call of Duty, the
all I'm
space
ever
one
looking for.
that everybody was like, this is going to be so much better than Squadron 42. And then the cutscenes were like really kind of good looking. And then you got moved to the game and you were like, what is this potato?
Yeah, this is terrible.
Nothing
man.
to do with the cutscenes. I know, it's like it every time that I see these trailers for these games that are coming out, it's like, hey, show me gameplay, because the trailers are nothing like the actual games, and
Sure.
like I have no interest in this because this is not the actual game.
Yeah. At least
and
we
it's
know what we're seeing looks the same as what we could play.
We know that, but most
Yeah.
people I don't think understand that because they're used to that whole
Yeah.
disconnect between trailers and
Sure.
gameplay, and don't understand that what they're building is a Hollywood movie that you're literally playing through in as a featured character, which is just, and Chris talked about that. I just still just blows me away at the quality of that.
So this is
moving right along,
this
we're
is the
running out of
Star
time.
Citizen Live 2950 Imperator election cast that happened on Friday. This was obviously our
Addison
SCL.
is chaos.
Yeah.
Vote for Sharon.
Yeah.
I want to vote for Jared,
Addison.
Jared's hair.
Chaos is
Jared's
better.
That is
Jared's hair
chaos.
is chaos.
His
It is
his
chaos.
hair isn't much longer than mine, actually. I think we got a haircut at the same time, and haven't had one since.
I cut my own hair.
Well, you can do that.
All right.
It's
And,
easier when you have
long,
short hair.
luxurious hair.
and then there's the Vanduul helmet FAQ.
I already
Yep.
got one. Woo! Vandal helmet is fine.
So kill a bunch of people. However you end up doing it, you can do it in a Gladius or a Glaive. Doesn't matter.
Any
have fun with
version of
that.
the Gladius
Yeah.
now, which is nice.
So
And they all stack.
so
So
to, for people
moving
that
right
don't know
along.
what that is, you have to kill 50 people, and you can do it in any way you want to, and you qualify to get that Vanduul helmet. And
As long
to
as
be
you're in a
unique kills.
Glaive or Gladius.
as long
Yeah.
that's right, as long as you're in a Glaive or a Gladius. But the reason why they created the Glaive was because the Gladius was because the Glaive was having some
broke
issues
dick.
and broken. Yeah.
Very bug.
So there are some tender thoughts on how this is done, and
There's a lot of opinions on it. Opinions differ. Let's jump to the one community video.
okay, yeah, I definitely want to do that, and if we want to dive into that topic, we can later, but let's kind of focus.
I do if we can.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
all right.
we still have to also touch on the letter from the chairman.
Yeah, okay, let's go through that, and then we'll
Oh my
come back to it
goodness.
if we have time at the end. Okay.
Because
Agreed.
this video is amazing.
This is about the community all being one. Really well done.
Oh, that's it, baby! That's it! Let's go! We did it!
These are the type of moments I want to be a part of in Star Citizen, coming together as a group and completing a task that feels just truly epic.
Star Citizen is an opportunity to explore, to connect with people.
Making the impossible possible.
I am dropping faster.
Gonna catch you.
It's passion, it's creativity, relationships, friends.
Friends that become family.
Friends who fly spaceships. It is amazing the quality of people that are involved in this project.
It is that human connection that you're doing with other players, interacting with them,
I think that it's special. You can go out on adventures and do crazy stuff with other people that maybe you wouldn't be able to do otherwise.
Let's go, let's go, let's go!
The VIP is secure.
I've had so much fun in game and out.
Momenti memorabili in gioco, ce ne sono stati tantissimi.
That I will remember 10 years from now playing this.
Mon premier pas sur Démarre, mon premier pas sur Hearthstone.
Beating out most of QA and Pirate Storm when they thought I was just a lowly office manager.
We realized after 2 hours that we had spent a long time shopping for clothing.
I tend to blow up my org mates, not on purpose.
Heidi, ich habe meinen Ehemann in die Luft gesprengt.
It was totally worth it.
You have angered the swarm.
Undergunned and being chased by a horde of Arlington goons. And as we jump out of the Retaliator, we look back and the ship explodes.
Stayed out there, opened up chat and said, help, I've just lost myself in the LA asteroid belt.
People stop what they're doing and they help a stranded player.
Oh my god, I'm in your ship!
Where else does that happen?
Completing the jump a third time at the 2018 CitizenCon. I think you even see me like sort of like cringe up because it was so loud.
And everyone was so excited and still hyped by the event. Everybody started dancing and we had a fantastic dance party with the backers, with the community.
Ich habe sogar meine heutige Lebensgefährtin auf einem Star Citizen Event kennengelernt.
Logramos llevar una camiseta de nuestra organización, poder regalársela a Chris Roberts.
I have to say that the community constantly surprises me. Combination of meeting the friends, playing together, but also sort of sharing a dream together and sharing ideas and thoughts and the energy and the excitement.
Yep.
It's brilliant. And because of their contributions, it becomes better than I imagined it. That's when I go, wow, okay, that is awesome.
For a lot of people in the community, this isn't just a game.
It's a very big part of my life.
Changed my life meeting so many other space nerds.
Look at that guy.
It means so much.
I made so many meaningful connections with people who I otherwise probably never would have met.
Transcends languages, locations, areas. You got people all over the globe.
You're a part of something so much larger than yourself.
We're not only the fans are friends, but the developers are as well.
And there's so much enthusiasm and positivity brought by the fans.
Who is so selfless with their time and is always willing to like help out new players and give back, just coming from like a genuine love of the game.
And I'm proud to be part of it.
Penso sempre a tutto il lavoro che c'è dietro.
I'm a part of the process.
There's something really nice about having that connection.
It gives me a lot of energy to do the best job that I can.
All these people are just rooting for you to succeed.
These people that have entrusted you to execute, on their dream.
The dream is a reality.
Building a universe isn't necessarily it's not a small thing to take on. Some people would say perhaps you should start smaller, but we didn't. So there you go.
Thank you to all you guys, because you guys make all of this possible.
I can't incredibly thankful and grateful. We definitely could not be where we are without the community, which is amazing. And for me, it is the best community in gaming.
Happy birthday, Star Citizen.
Happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños.
Happy birthday.
Bon cumpleaños.
Best and biggest gaming project out there in the world.
生日快乐，星际公民.
You don't look a day over 6 years old.
See you in the verse.
Yeah, I've made a lot of friends gaming through the years, but it really pales in comparison to the sheer number of friendships I've enjoyed as a Star Citizen backer, and for that, I feel truly blessed. So, happy birthday, Star Citizen.
Cool.
That's just really moving.
Yeah.
Such a good video.
Very, very cool. It's
I love that they touched that they brought the developers in there with the community, because like we feel this bond with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did they reach out to you specifically for that to get approval for using that?
Yeah, Tyler asked. I recorded like 5 minutes of video for that 3 seconds.
Nice. Yeah, it's wonderful that that they're engaging the community. Mm-hmm. That everyone from being at the cons to the content creators to the devs to the to Chris Roberts and the upper echelon there, just it's amazing. And I see those videos, and I remember being at those and being connected to a lot of those people on the stream and the friends that you've made, and it's really emotional. It's kind of cool.
Mike, what were you?
That's why we do it.
What were you saying about the video?
The last guy is Wickstrom.
Oh,
he passed away.
Oh, that was Wickstrom. Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah, the last guy at the end, that was Wickstrom. So that, I believe that video was from the 2016 CitizenCon. Remember they had the same kind of community video thing. So they found Lando happened to have it on his computer from then and shared it on this, and
wow.
The friend.
I didn't recognize him.
Yeah,
Wow.
neither did I.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Well, it's I didn't know Wickstrom well, but if Star Citizen hadn't happened, how big would the group that's mourning his loss be? And
I would have never met him. I would have never known. No?
And he might have been very well known to begin with, but I can tell you right now from the outcry that I saw as things were winding down for him, the amount of people that knew him and that had amazing things to say about him. It was hundreds of people, influencers and people that just followed and were happy with the time they'd had a chance to meet him. So amazing.
Yeah, the community, like the streaming and YouTube and Star Citizen community, was really small and tight knit at the beginning, and it's now branched out into all these little sectors. So it's different. Not everybody knows everybody, but back then we all knew each other. We were all friends with each other. We all hung out at the conventions.
Smaller, tighter community. I mean, we all met at Austin in 2018.
Yeah.
That was just such an incredible experience to meet so many people that we knew online for so long, and meeting so many of the content creators and community leaders at the event, and just all these friends that we know we don't get to see very often. And this community has just been life-changing for I think most all of us.
Mm-hmm. And
100%.
You're one of the OG SaltEMike.
I go back.
You do. There's not that many that are still kind of hanging around a lot. There obviously there's quite a few, but compared to how many there used to be, it's great to see that your passion for the game, not only
has not wavered.
It hasn't wavered.
I think it's stronger now.
Right. And you've gone through kind of ups and downs of where you are mentally about the game. Right. And you've been honest with yourself and kind of changed the way that you focus to be able to deal with that. To me, that's showing strength rather than being judged for just being salty. I think you've unfairly labeled yourself that as far as the way you've evolved along the time, but it's also great that you embraced that at the time. But anyway, there's
I appreciate that. That's kind.
Yeah. No.
All right, I gotta go.
All right, later, Doc.
All right,
bye,
Doc.
everybody.
Okay, on to the letter from the chairman.
Chairman's letter.
Yeah, there we are. So our infamous chairman had something to say, and we're more than happy to listen. Should we read through it real quick? I'll read the top part, and then maybe we'll just kind of let it go from there. Hello, citizens. 2020 has been a monstrous year in more ways than one. We blew past 300 million in crowdfunding, and even though we're just over 3/4 of the way through the year, it's already our biggest year in terms of revenue, players, and engagement. We're on track to have close to 1 million unique players this year, while 250,000 new players have already taken their first steps in the universe of Star Citizen during these past 9 months. And you all, the best community in gaming, have welcomed them with open arms, showing them around, helping explain the mechanics, and even lending them your ships to try out. It has been a very trying year for everyone around the world. I was expecting to be standing on a stage at the Los Angeles Convention Center giving a keynote to a couple of thousand community members in person. Instead, I'm writing from my home, having not been in the office for 6 months. People's lives have been upended by the dangers and challenges of COVID-19. We transitioned all 5 of our studios to work from home in March, which was no easy feat. Thanks to our IT and operations teams, we had minimal disruption in people's ability to continue to develop Star Citizen and Squadron 42. We're lucky to be in an industry that can work remotely. And while we are thankful for this, our thoughts go out to everyone that are not as fortunate. So he dives into to basically a happy birthday, and then goes on to show the "Why Go to the Moon" speech, which honestly we don't have time for, but it's extremely
like 30
inspiring. Right? An incredible speech.
I think it's a good analogy. The shooting for the moon and what SpaceX is doing, what Star Citizen is trying to do is something completely beyond what anybody else would ever try to do, and frankly, it's beyond what they set out to do. And they set out to build a $3 million game, and then it turned into a $6 million and $10 million, $20 million, and it kept growing. I mean, they had this small little vision, and the community just jumped aboard his vision and said, it's like, we want what you can give us, and we'll support you as long as you support us. And it's been this dynamic symbiotic relationship for the past 8 years, and I've only been a part of it for 5, and it's been just an incredible experience that I feel so lucky and blessed to be a part of, and be going through it with all of y'all in the community, and Stim and Doc and Mike. We've all met in real life and various times, and we've got years ahead of us, and we've committed our lives to this. I mean, outside of our normal real life jobs, I mean, for most of us, this is our lives. I mean, we're obsessed with this in no light terms.
Yeah.
And I liked the way that Chris kind of summed everything up, and that the milestones that they've achieved, and it's easy to forget those milestones. The 64-bit mathematical precision to achieve the millimeter precision at millions of kilometers that nobody else anywhere has done. And there's no other company that's done that. The unique procedural tools and the physics grids. Nobody else has these physics grids within physics grids where you can get into a vehicle, into a ship, land on a planet, take off, go to a space station, get into another physics grid. Not all working perfectly right now, but they're getting close. The object container streaming, the item ports, with the power systems, the unified actor rig, which we forget about that, but that is very unique in having the same first person and third person view in an MMO where it's completely realistically immersive, where it's the same from every vision. The DNA facial tech, and we just got all those new heads in this patch, so we've got even more facial customization. They're up to 640 employees across 5 studios.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought they were closer to 700, but I think they kind of slowed down a little bit last year. But I mean, that's still a lot of people, and they've added almost 100 people a year.
Yeah.
They started with 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
Just riding that growth wave over that period of time, for anybody who's been in a growth company, and that's massive growth. And to add almost 100 people a year to a company is just mind blowing.
Should I read the last bit of the letter for the chairman? It's about 4 paragraphs.
Sure.
Okay. So we chose to build Star Citizen's complexity and ambition not because it is easy, but because it is hard. We are building a game that I dare say all of you have dreamed about since we first started playing games, a game that I never imagined could be possible due to the economics and technical challenges. Together as a community of developers and gamers, we are creating a fully immersive first-person science fiction universe where you can seamlessly do anything and go anywhere without compromise. We are building it as a shared communal experience where friends can meet or new ones can be made. Developers and players interact and riff off each other, and geographic boundaries and language barriers fall as the Star Citizen community plays and bonds. welcoming both old and new pilots alike. If you haven't yet, take the time to watch today's newly released One Community video, which we just did, which conveys the powerful connections and friendships forming in the Star Citizen community every day. It is these connections that bind us together, not just as gamers, but as people, and in times like these is more important than ever. And like man in Kennedy's moonshot speech, we have achieved a lot already in our quest for the stars, 64-bit mathematical precision, allowing our game to have both millimeter detail and billions of kilometers scale, something no other commercial game engine has. Our planet tech allows us to render and simulate entire planets and moons down to the smallest rock or flower. If you can see it, you can travel there. The procedural tools we've developed allow our artists to paint at scale to create stunning and very specific environments. We can seamlessly transition between different physical simulations, like local gravity in space local gravity in a spaceship to the zero G of space, to the gravity of a planet rotating on its axis with our physics grid technology. The item port system allows us to break functionality into discrete components like power plants, shield generators, life support, doors, seats, thrusters, turrets, guns, and many more, allowing systemic behavior in our spaceships, vehicles, and environments. Our unified actor rig allows us to have the same animations and details in first and third person, allowing for the richest possible multiplayer experience. We can arbitrarily stream in and out of the universe around the player in the client or the server with object container streaming, allowing us to only display and simulate the parts of the universe we need to. Our DNA facial tech allows you to blend different scanned human features together realistically to create believable human heads for your in-game character. Our face over IP technology allows you to drive the facial motions of your in-game character as well as put your voice diegetically into the game. No other game has all of this functionality at once, done to the level of fidelity that we deliver. Along the way, we have built a company of over 640 people, split between 5 studios across 4 time zones. No small feat when we started with no office, 0 employees, and a few collaborators 8 years ago. And yeah, that's pretty well done. I have to agree.
Yeah.
I don't want to read this whole thing, guys. What we'll do is we'll post it in chat. Are there any key points that you wanted to share, guys?
The Intergalactic Aerospace Expo is going to be in an all-new location built from the ground up at New Babbage on Microtech. That's exciting.
Oh, that's cool. The one thing that I would point out, but I think it would just end up being a lot of back and forth and maybe too time consuming. But I feel like Chris is really, he knows everything that's going on in the project, so he sees this from this like really top-down view, and he looks at like he'll say things like exploration is in the game and piracy is in the game and like
very tier 0.
Yeah, and
but he talked about that, about fleshing those out.
Yeah, but it also, just the way it's said, it implies that the game is more to the average person. Like we talk a lot about like what people don't know, right? Like what we talked about you and I today, and I think that feeds into that a little bit, right? I'm not saying he's wrong.
Well,
I'm not saying what he's saying is wrong.
I think it depends on how you read that, because in how he phrased that is that that they have the initial iterations of these, but their intent, and he says that their intent now is to try to flesh those out to make those more robust, so that players do have those gameplay loops, so that the stuff that's so that piracy and bounty hunting and cargo trading, those are priorities for them to build out quickly.
Oh, goodbye.
Did we lose?
Unless this is me.
Did we lose Joran?
Am I here?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. So it's just you and me.
Yeah, I think it's Joran.
For me, if Joran ends up hearing me, I would just be like, explain what the tier 0 of exploration is. You know, it's like that's the one thing that it's hard for me to read those things. Because you know, outlaw is just murdering right now, and there's so much more. I don't know. It's just weird, but the idea of we'll when we flush it out, it'll be better is but the idea is when, and the argument was always we're putting everything in tier 0 and then we'll flush it out. But if all these things are already in as tier 0, all we have to wait for is salvage, repair, medical, data running, and farming, and then they'll come back and loop around. So
right,
it's just what's salvage, repair, medical, data running, and farming if this is what hauling, outlaw, mercenary, and bounty hunting are. So it's not an exciting time for people who want to play the game for the next couple of years would be my argument.
Yeah.
By reading this, it's a little scary.
Looks like we've lost Jordan from the call, so hopefully he will call back and get back.
But I get what he was saying, and he's not wrong. Just a perspective thing.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you wanted to cover on the letter for the chairman?
Not in the letter for the chairman. I think a lot of it was, the usual letter from the chairman stuff. We're doing really great. Things are going to be great. Stay with us. He talks about the roadmap. We've heard a lot about that. Squadron 42. Obviously, we talked a lot about that. So I wouldn't add much more to it. I think that section was the meat of it for me. Was I'm always looking for, all right, what am I going to be able to do? When am I going to be able to play it? So that's what stuck out to me for it, was that it might be a little while before we flesh out those things that we hope to enjoy the game with.
Yeah, perfect. Just sort of communicating with Jordan. Looks like his internet dropped. He'll probably come back.
Okay.
When just kind of looking at the rest of what happens, normally we talk a little bit about shenanigans and how that went out. Our in-game experience that we do on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. We show clips from that, but really it's I haven't been able to attend this last week, so it's really more of Joran to go through and show that. So we won't focus on that. But the lore post, Bronson's Bolts, was actually from an older
Jump Point, was it?
Jump Point, yeah. Did you have a chance to read it? Do you remember?
That was one that I didn't read. No, I'm sorry. I'm not on top of that one.
Yeah, no problem. I was just going to say...
I'm not big on the lore.
Yeah, I'm not either, so it's unfortunate because I know that... So that is like Doc Murray's one job, is to read the lore so he can report on that. But sometimes he logs off before we get to that point. The thing is, Joran had read it this time, so we were kind of counting on him when we got to it. I know, but of course he drops that right before.
My bad.
So that's really kind of the end of the show, which is good. It took a lot longer than we had planned, although we were worried that was going to happen. It was really more the AMA that kind of hit us, but such amazing.
Saw a lot there.
So much content to unpack, right?
Yeah.
Now, did you want to talk a little bit about your feelings? Because I've got something to say as well. It's unfortunate Jordan isn't here.
For it.
But just on the whole concept of the mask thing, because that was something
I don't think me and Joe Rune would disagree very much anyway. I think my feelings are pretty short, simple. I think the onus of this event is mostly on CIG for kind of developing a system that is pretty flawed, right? Where people are able to go outside of the intended point of the thing, which is like a PvP event to earn this mask. On top of the fact that you can go to Benny Henge, which isn't very PvP centric, even though it's like an open spot. But for the Vandal mask in particular, is that people are going out of the intended gameplay and earning it very quickly, easily. And so the only thing that I take issue with is that people who earn it on day one without trying, I would have just, I don't PvP ever. Like, I'm not the PvP guy at all. But I gave it a try and I had a lot of fun. And like, it really bums me out that people were like, don't like PvP. Too hard. Screw it. I'm just going to have a Congo line and, like we're going to play Gloria Stefan and get killed. Yeah, you're back. I see you.
You're back just in time.
just
on
in time
day one.
just in time
That's the only issue.
to comment. A lot of us just don't have the time, and also the law system is so broken in game right now that. So if you want to try to kill 50 different people, and if they're not all cooperating, then you get a crime stat, you end up in jail. How much time are you going to spend going through the whole jail loop and all that? It's like, if you don't have that much time to play, there's no way for you to do that. And I get that if the people that really put the time in and really work hard and they get it, then there's a lot more sense of reward for accomplishment for doing that the right way.
But that's taken away from the people who do it the wrong way. It feels less good because of that, right?
Yeah, I agree that definitely kind of devalues the effort put in by the people who do it the right way. But
you might have missed the beginning where I said the onus is on CIG. Yeah, 100%. You were here. Yeah. The onus is on CIG. They made a flawed system.
The whole thing was really stupid. I mean, just it's
let me preface something.
Guy.
Let me preface something. So I've had a chance to watch both the videos where Montoya, kind of runs through what you've done, and then I've also what you said on stream, and then you responding to Montoya, and it was a wonderful saga. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I completely understand where you're coming from. Now, one piece of information I don't know if you know, Mike, is that it was either Xylo or a dev. I don't know if we can confirm it was Xylo. Actually came into our stream when the Yacht Club was doing the exact same thing. So on Monday Night Shenanigans, we got together. Thursday Shenanigans. I have played one this week. We got in and we went to Benny Henge. We went and found, so we would get both masks, right? So we would get the one for discovering Benny Henge.
Which is my favorite, by the way. I love that one.
Yeah. And then we
started the process of mass murdering each other.
Right. And there's a better way to do it. Like the way that Montoya did it, you stand in a line. We couldn't do that at Benny Henge because the way it was, but you can also, get a bunch of people in a Valkyrie and then blow it all up at once. You can do whatever you want. You can really make it easy mode. But the fact that we had a dev come in and show us both of those helmets and stand it and kind of encourage us to do it tells me that, that if we assume that the devs are intending it to be earned via PvP, then I think that's not necessarily a correct assumption, because we saw evidence of CIG stepping in to showcase, which would be encouraging that behavior.
I think they're okay with whatever people do that creates emergent gameplay, and I think a lot of people. I've talked to a bunch of people who went to do that
for either community stuff conga line
or
earning it,
and a lot of people are doing that haven't even really done that much as a group before. And some people were saying, it's like, wow, that was one of the first things I did as a group. I got into this, and there's a bunch of people doing stuff, and then they went off and did other stuff together. And
people probably made friends.
Yeah. It's
absolutely.
I think that there are benefits to what they've done here. I don't think it was well thought out. I think it's one of those things that, somebody threw something out there. It's like, hey, this would be a great idea, and let's do it with the glaive. It's like, does anybody realize that the glaive is completely not non-functional? So they
all right, let's use the Gladius.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, let's throw the Gladius in there for everybody else too. And it's like, but yeah, and several people have said, it's like, gamers are going to game, and if there's a way to game a system, they're going to game the system. And this was kind of an easily game system, but like you said,
the only issue is that most people said it's PvP. I'm not into PvP, and okay, but to me, it was a PvP event, and if you're not into PvP, then you typically wouldn't be able to take part. Yeah, it's not for you. But there's a sense of entitlement and less entitlement, but a sense of like collecting, where everybody feels that they deserve it, so they go for it, right? And CIG put the systems in place where, dude, you're gonna get it, go for it. Like I don't really have an issue with people doing it. I'm more frustrated that people didn't even bother trying. And the whole thing is I think
I would have never tried,
but I
no
went
way
for
that they could. I think that those people knew that there was no way that they possibly could have done the others. So that's like, well, I'll go do this. Like, there's no way that I would ever possibly even, remotely get a fraction of the.
I would have thought the same thing. I'm at 40 in 3 days.
Honestly, I would never wear the mask. I'm never going to wear the Benny Hill. I got the Benny Hinge mask. I am never going to wear that. I don't like that scary shit. I don't like horror movies. But it's like, it's something to do with friends, and we're all there, and it's like, hey, let's just do let's organize a mass murder thing and see if we get the other thing. And anybody who wants it, that's cool. And there's a lot of different ways to go about this. I don't think that it was well thought out, but I think it's created a lot of activity, which is positive. I think it would have been.
I've never
cool
loved the game so much than I do today.
Really, that's
because
awesome. That's strong.
The first time. Think about it. Think about it. I mean, this is something I've discussed a lot. Like, you have an 890 jump, right? Mm-hmm. So you obviously the only way to get it really is at the time was to purchase it on the website. Mm-hmm. But if I worked my butt off and I earned it in game, your 890 jump looks exactly like my 890 jump. I earned it in game. You earned it and they feel, it doesn't equate. Like, I worked my butt off in game. You didn't. Now that doesn't mean that you didn't earn it, or like there's no value.
I worked my ass off in real life. To afford that in game. It's like I worked my ass off so I don't have to work in game.
I'm not taking away from that. I'm not taking away from that accomplishment. But for this specific thing, this was the first time that didn't exist, right? So that was like that feeling of like, holy crap, this is actually becoming a game. But like, this is actually becoming a game. Like, that was that first moment, and I was like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life for this game, and all 8 years.
I'm glad that you finally found something that connected with your need that you weren't having met in Star Citizen, because I think it's sad that you haven't found something that met that need before.
Because I like MMOs, I like playing games, where a lot of people like. We've talked about this last time we were on the show. It's more about community and experience.
Well, there's different. There's a lot of different things for different people, and like we get in and we do stuff together as groups, and we make up our own fun, and we have crazy times doing all kinds of stuff like the Mission Mondays now, and dogfighting and that sort of thing. And we've got people in the yacht club where like Mentake, he's a obsessive badass miner. I mean, he has made, and he does not want to spend real money on ships. I mean, he's got a few ships. I think he bought a Prospector. It was like the one big ship that he bought, and he is just a mining machine. I mean, he has made millions, no exploits, just mining. I mean, he spends hours every day mining.
That's me.
And he has made millions. And so he's bought all these ships in game. He hasn't quite gotten an 890, but he's bought 600s. He's got Valkyries, and he's bought Phoenix. He's bought all these ships. And he feels rightfully so that, I mean, he has earned these in game, and that's the game, and it's there for people, and you have to really love mining, which he does. And, once we get some of these other things in game where people can make money doing bounty hunting or piracy, we got one of the guys in the group. I mean, he's a pirate, and he goes out and he targets miners, and now that the Rock, that you can actually take the inventory from a rock. So now his whole thing is like, he wants to sneak up on somebody in a rock and kill them, and then steal the gems out of the rock. And it's like, that's the first iteration of real piracy.
Yeah,
and he's got the first iteration of that loop. It's like, and he is so excited. So as they flesh these things out, people will have more rewarding gameplay.
I said that too. That's the whole other thing about this, is that like, this is a PvP centric event, and part of the problem of why everybody's taking part and feels that they need to get it maybe is that they have nothing else to do that is as relevant, maybe, right? Like, if the game was like fully fleshed out, exactly, like if the game was fully fleshed out, the miners would be doing mining, the haulers would be doing their hauling for all their different reasons, and the PvPers, exactly. So everybody would find their niche, but that's not the game isn't there yet to do that.
It's a bit of a departure, kind of going back a little bit, but Captain Richard said that Xylo shared his comments on Twitch earlier, saying that while it's intended to be a PvP event, this is the whole mask killing spree. It was intended to be a PvP event in the traditional sense. It's a Halloween event and not meant to be taken as strictly traditional PvP events. So it's a bit of an ambiguous statement.
And I'm not standing here telling people how to play the game. Like, don't ever
all
think
of you
that.
people suck for doing it that way.
No, never. I'm just super, like, I don't PvP. All I've done is mine for the last 3 years or whatever, 2 years, however long it's been around. And I took the chance and played this, and I enjoyed it so much. And I'm just disappointed other people didn't give it a try.
And I bet you're not alone on that. You know, there's got to be a lot of people.
I'm definitely not alone.
Right. There's got to be a lot of people.
There's a lot of people that
that
are really doing it. I've talked to a lot of people that are doing the actual PvP, and they're out there and they're trying to rack up kills. There's people who've done it, and they feel really good about it.
So
and if you're a streamer, it's like easy content too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
you're just taking content away from yourself.
And then there's other people that don't like griefing people or attacking people. Just
I've resorted to it. I can't believe it, but I've had you got to resort to it for this.
But there are some people that they do not want to just kill someone who is just minding their own business, going about their life. We got a lot of people in the Yacht Club. They're Care Bears, and it's like I hate it when I get blown up randomly. It's like I don't want to do it to somebody else. It's like it's morally reprehensible.
Jarun, I was a Care Bear for years, but I got the taste of blood now. It's dangerous.
Like, you're gonna be an evil murderer.
So I hooked up my throttle sticks.
Issues, we're so super close to each other.
Yeah, I pulled it and then I just put it back. Let's see what happens. Let's actually end the stream and then come back.